A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry of the Circus. For Jerry of the Circus.
There he is, Ray. Oh, Mr. Randall. Hey, wait a minute, Mr. Randall.
Oh, what's the matter, Jerry?
I just heard something I think you should know.
Oh, well, you want to step into the wagon?
No, I can tell you here.
Well, what is it, Jerry?
Well, I just heard one of the roustabouts tell Gus. He's one of the canvassers.
Yes, I know Gus.
Well, this fellow told Gus they were going to have another meeting.
Oh, you mean the strikers?
Uh-huh.
Did he say when?
Yeah, he said in about 10 minutes. And they're all going to meet out in back of the horse town.
Well, so they're still talking it over, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, thanks for telling me, Jerry.
Are you going to go over and see what they have to say?
Yes, I think I will.
Maybe if you talk to them again, they'll see different.
No, I think I've said enough. I'll let them figure it out for themselves.
It sure is a shame. Everything was going along so nice, and then Gabby had to start talking and start all this trouble.
Yes, it's not so good, Jerry. This strike is hurting business.
See, look at it. Here comes Patsy and
Yeah. Look at that grin on Patsy's face. She's certainly excited about something.
Yeah, and she's walking so fast, Bumps can hardly keep up with her.
well, Patsy, what's the big smile for?
You sure seem happy.
Oh, say I'm happy. I got a Mr. Randall just now. It came special.
Wait a minute, Patsy. Not so fast. You got what?
Say, I thought you asked me to walk over to the office wagon with you. Seems like you don't know the difference between walking and running, young lady.
I'm sorry, Bumps. I didn't realize I hit such a good pace.
Well, come on, tell us what it is. Mr. Randall asked you, Patsy.
Oh, I am excited. It's my check, Mr. Randall.
Your check?
You mean the money from your godmother?
Uh-huh.
You got it from the lawyer?
That's it.
Isn't that grand, Sam?
Well, I'll say it is. Congratulations, Patsy.
Are you busy, Mr. Randall?
Busy? No, not for a few minutes. Why?
Well, this check is for a lot of money, and at least it's a lot to me.
Oh, you want me to put it in my safe?
Yes, that's one thing, and... Well, I was going to ask your advice about what to do with it.
Oh, well, I'll be glad to help you, Patsy, but as far as the check goes, you don't have to worry about that. It isn't endorsed, of course. I'll put it in the safe right after dinner.
You're not forgetting about what I told you, are you, Mr. Randall?
No, indeed I'm not, Jerry.
Well, more secrets with the boss, huh, Jerry?
Yeah, that's right, Bumps.
Well, then you are busy.
Well, yes, in a way. I've got to go out in the back lot to attend to something, but... Well, come on along. We can talk as we walk over that way.
All right.
Bumps and I'll walk on ahead.
Yeah.
Come on, Ray.
All right. Go ahead, Jerry.
I'm so thrilled I can hardly talk.
Well, I should think you would be. Not everybody has a pot of gold drop right in their lap like this. How much does it amount to, Patsy?
I can hardly believe it, but it's $20,000.
Well...
That's what it came to after the taxes and the attorney's fees were deducted.
I'd say that's a lot of money. I had no idea you were getting that much.
I was wondering if you'd sort of help me, Mr. Randall.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I want to put the money where it'll be absolutely safe.
Well, yes, of course you do, and you want to get some interest.
Uh-huh.
Well, Patsy, I'd suggest an annuity.
Annuity?
Yeah, I think that's your best bet.
Is that sort of, well, it's like insurance, isn't it?
That's right. You see, with an annuity, Patsy, you'll get an income from your money as long as you live.
Oh, that sounds very good, Mr. Randall.
It's a good plan for several reasons. You know, Patsy, it's a funny thing, but just as soon as a person gets a nice sum of money, someone always comes along to try to get it away from them.
Uh-huh.
Fast talkers appear and present all sorts of pretty pictures of good investments.
Yes, and most of them just tricks.
That's right.
Will you show me how to go about getting this annuity?
You bet I will. You just drop over to the office wagon anytime, and we'll figure out the very best plan for you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Randall.
Not at all, Patsy. I'm glad you came to me first.
I knew you'd want me to do the safest thing with the money.
You bet. I can't have my star aerialist losing all her wealth.
Hey, aren't you through talking business yet?
Yeah. All finished, Jerry.
Well, you two must have a big deal on.
High finance, Bumps.
Did you manage to get some of her money away from her, Sam?
Oh, you bet I did. I talked her out of the whole amount. She's going to invest it in one of my paraffin mines in the South Sea.
Go on. Paraffin doesn't come from mine.
Well, you'll have to excuse me now. You coming with me, Jerry?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Then I'll run along, and thanks again, Mr. Randall.
Okay, Patsy. Okay.
Bye. See you all later.
Goodbye, Patsy. Well, can I be any help, Sam?
No, I don't think so, Bumps. Thanks just the same. Jerry and I are just going to sit in one of the strikers' meetings.
Oh, see.
Will you take Regs with you, Bump?
Oh, sure, Jerry. Come on, fella. No, you're coming with me this time.
Most likely to see you at dinner time,
Yes, Sam. And good luck. I hope you work out something with those strikers.
This way, Mr. Randall. They're meeting out in back of the horse town.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, then let's walk through the horse top. It's quicker than walking around.
Okay.
Say, Jerry, did that fella have any more to say?
Just what I told you, that they're holding another meeting.
Mm-hmm. Right through here.
All right.
Oh, say, there's your old pal, Jerry.
Hiya, Whitey.
Hello.
Hello, Whitey.
Oh, hello, Mr. Randall.
Well, looks like you've got quite a gathering out back, doesn't it?
Yep, those strikers are still wrangling. You going out and taking the meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Good for you, Mr. Randall. You know, I never seen the likes of such carrying on as they're doing. They ought to be ashamed of themselves asking for a better deal than they're getting from you.
I'll say they should.
Yeah, they're a nervy lot. Why do you know they even came around to some of my men and tried to get them to go out on strike, too.
They did, huh? I knew they'd been around to the guards and the menagerie.
Yep, but my boys wouldn't have nothing to do with any of their ideas.
Good.
Come on, Mr. Randall. They're starting to talk.
Okay, Jerry. Well, see you later, Whitey.
You bet, Mr. Randall.
Can you imagine that?
What?
Those strikers are trying to get the hostlers to strike, too.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Of all the nerve.
Say, look, Jerry. There they are.
And it looks like there's more this time than they had at the last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we better stay right here.
Why?
Well, we can hear them all right from here.
Not in your light, Jerry. I'm going right over there among them.
You are?
Sure thing.
Uh-oh, they see you.
That's all right, men. Go right ahead with your meeting.
You bet we will. And you're invited to listen to what we have to say.
All right, Gabby, but before you start, I'd like to put a little foreword in.
I'll have to see about that. How about it, fellas? Do you want to hear from Mr. Randall?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Randall, okay. See you a little piece.
Pipe down, you guys, and let the boss talk.
Go ahead, boss.
Well, there's just this much to be said, men. I'm not being stubborn about your demands. I'm only trying to be reasonable. And I want you to be reasonable, too. I know you're important to the circus, just as important as the performers or the stop acts or any other department. But I do believe I'm giving you all a square deal. You're getting just as much, if not more, than you'd get from any other outfit in the business.
Oh, yeah?
Right down, let the boss finish. He's entitled to say what he wants to say.
Well, the extra work you did after the cyclone hit us was an emergency. Sure, you worked overtime. But what do you think I was doing? Well, I'll tell you. I was working overtime, too, night and day. Why? To keep the show going. To keep your jobs for you and not have to throw all my people out of work. Another thing, I work for a salary the same as you do, but I haven't drawn 1 cent of pay since the cyclone.
Oh, yeah. Hey, let the boss finish. Come on.
Well, that's all I have to say, men. Now, how about getting back in your jobs? We'll forget the whole thing and there'll be no hard feelings. What do you say?
Hey, let me talk now.
I'll do the talking now.
Hey, I wish you'd let me talk once. Hey, let's hear what Danny's got to say. If I wanted to say something right along.
Let's hear what's on your mind, Danny.
Okay, all right, Danny, go ahead.
Well, in the first place, Gabby here starts us all to thinking we should have got extra dough for working overtime when we had that cyclone.
Yeah, that's right. So what?
Well, if we'd have stopped and done a little thinking of our own, we'd have been better off.
Oh, yeah? What are you driving at?
Just this, Gabby. If we didn't all pitch in and work hard and get the show out on the road again, we wouldn't have any job at all. Didn't any of you guys think of that?
Yeah, you got something there, Danny?
Sure I have, and Mr. Randall's right. We're getting a square deal from him. We get good food and lots of it. Our job's steady. Most of us know when we can get back to work for the outfit year after year, and it's a pretty good setup.
Yeah, where'd we go to work if we didn't work for Randall?
Now, well, what do you got to say to that argument, Gabby?
Well, let's see now.
Yeah, you ain't got no answer. For once, you ain't so Gabby.
Danny's right, that's why.
Now, listen, you wait a minute. You guys listen to me. I'm going to tell you something you didn't know.
All right, go ahead.
In the first place, this strike wasn't my idea.
What?
You said it was.
I know I did. But after the thing got started, I began to think like Danny here. We ain't got such bad jobs at that.
Well, then why didn't you call the thing off?
I figured it was too late then.
You heard that, Mr. Randall?
Yeah, Jerry, this is getting interesting.
There was another guy behind this strike idea. I thought he was for us when he told me how to plan the strike, but I see now there must have been another reason. He had a reason for starting this thing.
Now, who is this guy?
Never mind, just leave him to me. I want him all to myself. I'm going to go get him right now. When I get through with him, I'll bet he won't get any more funny ideas about making you guys and me the goat. Yeah, I'm sorry this thing has caused you so much trouble, Mr. Randall.
Well, that's all right, Gabby. I said there'd be no hard feelings.
Then let's all get back on the job.
Say, Gabby. Gabby.
Excuse me, Mr. Randall. I got some unfinished business to take care of.
Come on.
What do you know about that?
Trying to make a monkey out of me, was he? Yeah. He had some other idea. He wanted to start that strike for a reason. I don't care what it was, but he won't be getting no more ideas. Wise guy, huh? Well, I'll take care of him. He figured he'd get the benefit of that strike. And me, the fellas out there, we'd take the rap. Well, I'll fix him. You in there, Boris?
Go me. Hey, what's the idea? You know you shouldn't be seen in my wagon.
Oh, yeah? So you're the wise guy that wanted to make a sap out of me, huh?
I don't know what you're talking about, Gabby.
No? Well, you had a reason. A reason for your own for wanting me to start that strike. I don't know what it was, and I don't care. But guys like you need a little taming.
Oh, now take it easy, Gabby.
I've elected myself to teach you a lesson. One that you won't forget so quick.
Sit down and we'll talk this over, Gabby. I'm sure you have made a big mistake.
No, you're the guy that made the mistake. And you're going to pay for that mistake right now. How's it?
Gabby, what's the idea?
By the time you can see out of that eye, maybe you'll be able to see that it doesn't pay to fool around with me.
ladies and gentlemen. For a more authentic presentation, portions of the program you are about to hear were actually recorded on the scene.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A gang of hold-up men have been running loose in your city. They've committed more than a dozen robberies. They're heavily armed, quick to shoot. Your job, stop them.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima. Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. And that's why Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima is doubling and redoubling its smokers. So, if you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Saturday, July 21st. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from the record bureau, and it was 6:55 p.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery detail.
Hi, Joe, you ready?
Let's go.
Where'll I dump this top coat? There. It's too hot out tonight for that.
Yeah, the rest of the guys take off already?
Yeah, we better hustle.
How many men are working this thing tonight?
Must be at least 50, covering every drugstore in the South Central area.
Which one did we draw?
Naomi in South Alameda, Rex Pharmacy.
Yeah.
Parking lot across the street. We can cover the pharmacy from there.
We better check out a Thompson from the business office first, huh?
That's a good idea. We might as well be ready. They are.
Who got the tip the gang was moving into the south end of town?
It's Johnny Powers, one of his informants.
Okay, here we are.
Business office, Blair. Yeah, I'll take care of it. Thanks.
Hey, Blair, do you want to check out a Thompson for us?
Okay, Friday. Heavy duty?
Yeah, kind of.
There's a sign-out book.
Thank you.
Hey, you might as well give us a shotgun while you're at it, Blair.
Okay. Check these out for an hour. Sounds like a busy night for you fellas.
Maybe.
Thompson's okay. So the shotgun.
Want to sign up for the shotgun too, Joe?
Yeah, okay. One Thompson submachine gun, one shotgun. You got those serial numbers there, Blair?
Yeah. Thompson 67811.
67811. Yeah.
Shotgun 655228.
5228. Okay. Signed, Joe Friday. Serial number 2288. Ben Romero. What's your serial number, Ben?
2633.
Oh, yeah. 33.
6 shells for the shotgun, 50 shells for the Thompson, okay?
All right, I'll sign for him. Okay.
Gang's pretty rough, I understand. Gun heavy.
Yeah, that's what they tell us. Okay. There's the book, all signed.
Okay. Here you go. A lot of firepower there.
Yeah. Hope you don't have to clean them when we bring them back. We went down to the basement of the city hall, picked up our car, 80K, and drove out to Naomi and South Alameda streets. We located the parking lot and pulled in. There were 4 other cars parked in the lot so we wouldn't be conspicuous. Ben and I got in the back seat out of the light. From our vantage point, we had a clear view of the entrance to the Rex Pharmacy across the street. We had the shotgun and the submachine gun on the seat beside us. We listened to the calls coming on the radio, and we waited.
13, Joe, stand by.
There's no cooler here than it is in the office.
Yeah. Hot and sticky, huh?
Yeah. Paper says it's going to be worse tomorrow.
Roll down your window, will you, and get some air in here?
Yeah, huh?
The pharmacy isn't doing much business. Not more than a dozen people in there in the last hour.
No soda fountain again. Sure is hot.
You have to talk about it, huh?
It helps.
What time you got?
10 minutes to 10.
No smoke?
No, thanks.
Yeah, I'll get it. That gang's going to show up here. Wish they'd get it over with.
Fellas might have got a bum tip.
Well, the gang hasn't missed a weekend for 2 months.
I wonder how much time the average cop spends waiting.
I don't know. Put it all together, it'd make a fine vacation. What do we do, sit this out till the pharmacy closes?
Yeah, 2 a.m. Sure is hot.
Yeah. Midnight came and passed. The traffic on South Alameda thinned out. Only an occasional customer entered the pharmacy across the street. Ben kept complaining about the heat. We waited.
Well, that's it, Joe. There go the lights. Drugstore's closing.
Yeah, the guy's locking the doors. There he goes.
We might as well shove off, too.
Yeah, let's get in the front seat.
There's not much call for this shotgun tonight.
There's no use checking it in. Same duty to mine, eh?
Attention all units. All units in the vicinity of 8th Hill on the corner of Hill and Geneva Alley. The 211 and shooting. Code 3.
Hit the light. Yeah, come on, let's roll. Sunday, July 22nd, 2:15 a.m. Ben and I pulled up at the Merchant Security Trust Company on the corner of South Hill and Geneva Alley. 2 patrol cars were already on the scene, and 4 uniformed officers were trying to keep back a crowd of people who had gathered at the top of a flight of marble stairs which led off the street, down one flight to the bank's night depository. At the bottom of the stairs, an elderly man was sprawled out, face down, his right arm twisted under him. The man was dead. Ben counted 5 bullet wounds in the victim's back. We interviewed the only witness, a young sailor.
My name's Vasey, Sergeant. Don Vasey, quartermaster, 2nd class. Here's my ID card.
You saw the shooting, Vasey?
I was about a half a block away. I just came out of the bar down the street there, the Top Hat.
Yeah?
Had a couple of beers, and I left, and I started walking back to the hotel.
When was that?
About 5 after 2.
Go on.
Well, before I got to the corner, I saw this man ahead of me. He crossed the street and headed over for the bank. Then this car pulled up, and some guys got out. They ran over to the man, and it looked like they were frisking him.
Yeah?
All of a sudden, I heard shots. The man ran for the stairs here, and it looked like he stumbled and fell. A bunch of guys jumped back in the car and drove away.
What'd you do then?
Well, I ran up to see what I could do for the old man. He was lying down there where he is now. Nothing I could do for him. I yelled for a cop.
Did you get a look at the men in that car?
No, I just saw him from a distance. 4 of them, maybe 5.
What about the car? Did you see the license number?
The last couple of numbers, that's all. 699. Couldn't see the rest.
What was it, a coupe or sedan?
A sedan, maroon color. It was a Pontiac, either 1940 or 41.
You sure about that?
I used to own one back in Delaware, 1940 model. I sold it to my brother when I went in the Navy. I'm sure all right.
And you're sure about the number of men in the car?
Oh, yes, sir. 4 or 5, no more.
I see, thanks. Well, will you drive back to the office with us and give us a full statement?
Sure, Sergeant. Anything you say.
You can wait in the car, Vasey. We won't be long.
Sure.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know.
Drugstore gang?
Said there were 4 guys. Could be. No description.
Maroon car. 3 numbers off the license plate.
Pretty thin.
Yeah. Looks like a hard summer. We completed our preliminary investigation. The coroner arrived, and the body was taken to the county morgue in the basement of the Hall of Justice. The victim was identified as Walter Conroy, the proprietor of the Flowerland Dance Hall on South Hill Street. Together with officers Fremont and Hurst from homicide, Ben and I spent most of Sunday tracking down employees of the dance hall and interviewing them. We sent a rush teletype to the Department of Motor Vehicles in Sacramento containing the partial license number, plus our scanned information on the car which the suspects drove. Early Monday afternoon, Ben and I, along with Captain Ed Walker of Robbery Detail, met with Chief of Detectives Thad Brown.
What kind of a motive are you working on?
Robbery. Bank Hall manager Conroy was on his way to the bank's night depository when this bunch caught up with him. He had the night's receipts with him from the dance hall.
How much they got, Walker?
$350. They missed over 1,000 Conroy had in an inside pocket.
No idea who pulled the stick up?
Could have been that drugstore gang.
Why them?
We haven't missed working a weekend night for 2 months. There's no sign of any other job that they might have pulled Saturday.
Just a hunch, Chief. Nothing to go on. We'll have to guess our way for a while.
Sacramento checking the description of the car, the numbers off the license plate?
Yeah, ought to have an answer this afternoon.
Any leads on the drugstore gang at all?
Plenty. None of them good. Suspects are loaded down with guns. That's all we know.
Excuse me. Brown speaking. Just a minute. Friday speaking.
Oh, thanks. Reached over here. Friday. Yeah, Ralph. How many? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Well, I got an answer from DMV Sacramento about the holdup car.
What'd they say, Joe?
Well, they looked up the possible combinations of 1940 or 41 Pontiac sedans with the number 699 on the license plate.
Yeah?
123 possibles to check.
Not much choice.
No car of that description on the hot list. Killer might be the legal owners.
123. Well, even after we check them, we still might not have the right party.
That's right. If we got a better lead, we'll work on it.
Nope.
Well, then ride this till it falls apart.
For the next 13 days, Ben and I, Fremont and Hurst from homicide, plus a half a dozen other men, hacked away at the list of 123 car registrations, any one of which could have been issued to the holdup car. The color of the sedan didn't help us much to start with, since California vehicle registrations do not include the colors of the cars. After 14 days of gradual elimination of possibles, the field was narrowed to 6, then 4, and then 2. August 6th, Monday, 5:30 p.m. Ben and I were called to Thad Brown's office.
Gentlemen, you check out that last possible yet?
About 20 minutes ago. It didn't pan out.
What about Hurst and Fremont? They had one left.
Right here. Could be the answer.
Yeah.
1940 Pontiac sedan, license number 4XA699. Last registration, San Diego.
Sounds good.
We teletyped to San Diego police. They say the car's been sold to a woman out in Santa Monica.
Anyone checked her?
Well, that's what I want you two for.
San Diego and Santa Monica. Well, it's in the right area.
Can't afford to miss now. I hope it's the right one.
Well, it's got to be. Check it.
Ben and I checked the woman in Santa Monica, Mrs. Fielding. She told us that she had sold the car 6 months before to a friend who lived in Bakersfield. We contacted her friend. He told us the car had been traded in by him to an auto dealer in Pasadena. We checked the dealer. He said the car had been sold off his used car lot 2 months before. The new buyer had given his name as Emil Thurston. 2 names were given as reference, Lloyd Newton and John Lacombe. We ran a routine check through the record bureau.
Ran them through, fellas. Here's the packages.
Get a make for him?
On all 3.
What'd you find on Thurston?
Let's see. Thurston, 2-time loser, second time up to Q on 5 counts of armed robbery. On parole from Quentin now.
How about the other 2?
Lacombe, let's see. Preston reformatory, 2 terms, went up 3 years ago, violation of Dyer Act. He's on parole, too.
What about Newton? Did you make him?
2 terms in Oklahoma. They're looking for him now. He's on parole.
Can I look at that just a minute, Frank?
Sure.
Let's have all 3 of them. Take a look, Ben. Each one of the mama sheets on these 3 guys.
Yeah.
Right here under General M.O. See?
Mm-hmm. Thurston, heavily armed at time of arrest.
Yeah. This one, Lacombe. Right?
Heavily armed.
This one on Newton. Same thing.
Gun happy.
Yeah. Come on. At the time he purchased the car, suspect Emil Thurston listed his home address as 1517 North Hoover Avenue. Previous robbery victims positively identified Thurston and his companions. At 1517 North Hoover, the landlady also identified Thurston and his companions as tenants. She told us they drove a red sedan and they parked the car at a Temple Street garage. An immediate stakeout was placed on the apartment house, and we started the canvass of Temple Street garages from Hoover Avenue down to Rampart Boulevard. At 4 p.m., Ben spotted the car in Donnelly's garage on Temple Street near Michigan Drive. The garage attendant told us that the owner of the car had given his name as Emil Thurston. We showed him the mug shots.
Yeah, used to park his car in here a while back. Then he came in yesterday morning with these two guys and said he wanted a paint job.
Doesn't look like he needs a paint job to me.
They offered me $20 extra if I do it in a hurry. He wants the car painted green.
When's he going to call for the car?
About 10 o'clock tonight. These jobs take time. He's not going to like it if the car's not finished.
He won't like it if it is. Come on, Ben.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. Now, here is an authentic report from Fatima Cigarettes.
In 1949, Fatima doubled, tripled, and quadrupled its smokers.
In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself.
You'll find Fatima extra mild.
Because Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobacco superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild.
You'll find Fatima tastes much better.
Fatima's superb blend gives you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
You'll find Fatima tops in cigarette quality.
Fatima has always stood for the best in cigarette quality. For a new year of greater smoking enjoyment, buy Fatima in the appealing golden yellow package. You'll agree, Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
7 p.m. Tuesday, August 7th. Chief of Detectives Thad Brown and Captain Ed Walker swung the entire robbery detail into action. The stakeout at the apartment house on North Hoover continued. An additional detail of men was stationed in a vacant store on Temple Street directly opposite Donnelly's garage. Donnelly's garage was a small family outfit, and the only spot from which we could cover it thoroughly without being seen was from a large paint locker set up against the right wall. The garage man cleared enough room so that Ben and I could fit into the locker in a half-stooped position. 2 small latches were rigged up so that we could pull the doors closed from the inside. 4 ventilation holes at the top and bottom of the doors provided us with peepholes. At 8 o'clock that night, Ben and I took our places inside the locker. The trap was set. We waited.
Can you see all right, Joe?
Yeah. It's hot in here. Stale air.
It's a tight fit. I'm getting a clamp in my shoulder.
What time did that garage man say he closed?
11 o'clock. Those lousy paint smells.
Stuff it, man.
Hey, that car pulling in. Can you see the driver?
Wait a minute. It's nothing. Somebody getting gas.
Hope they show up. Wouldn't want this to go on another night.
Well, don't count on it.
Foot's going to sleep.
Why don't you stand still? What time you got?
Let me see. Get the light on in here. 10 minutes to 9.
Thanks. The popular conception of the working detective rarely includes a glimpse of his everyday run-of-the-mill duties. Filling out forms, conducting interviews, or waiting long, monotonous hours parked in a car or standing half-crouched in a garage paint locker. It's slow, dull, and tedious, and it's 95% of the police officer's job. By 10 o'clock that night, there was still no sign of Thurston and his friends. The cramped locker got more cramped with the passing minutes. The air was thick with paint fumes. We waited. At 10:55, a taxi pulled to a stop in front of the garage. 3 men got out.
You see him, Joe?
Wait till they step into the light. There's another guy still in the cab.
Here he comes. There's the first guy.
Yeah, it's Thurston.
4th guy's getting out of the cab.
That looks like Newton, man.
That's him.
Yeah, it's Lacombe right behind. Fat guy. Here they come.
Sure do look the part.
All right. Unlight your door, but don't open it.
Yo.
Quiet, Ben. What's the matter?
That latch is stuck. Wait a minute.
Did you get it?
No, it's really stuck.
All right, tap it with your gun stock. Come on, easy.
There it is. It's loose.
Good. Can you see where they are now?
Yeah. Talking to the garage man. Stop looking this way. Now, you just stay that way, huh? You ready? Okay. Don't tip him off till we're right on top of him. Let him get away from that garage man, huh?
Right.
All right. Let's go.
Approximately 25 or 30 yards separated us from the suspects. I glanced across Temple Street at the vacant store where Thad Brown and the other men were staked out. 25 yards is a long way to walk when you're approaching a murderer, and you know that he won't hesitate to kill you in order to escape. Ben flipped the safety off the machine gun. We were almost halfway across the garage, 15 yards away. Thurston turned and saw us.
Look out, Joe! Got one of them. They ducked behind the car, went up the stairs. 3 of them. Come on.
Where'd they go?
Up the stairs. Up this way, Joe. Yeah, watch it, Ben. Get on. They're somewhere back in that corner up there. You're trapped. Throw down your gun. All right, Ben, give it over. Throw down your guns. Throw them down. There's 3 of them. 6 of them. All right, now come on down with your head behind your head.
Cover me, Ben. I'll frisk him.
Right. You up on the end. Get your hands back of your head.
All right, stand still. All right, next one. Go on. Clean. All right. Look home.
Watch him jump. All right, you. Rest of you, stand back. Keep your hands up. You all right, Joe?
Yeah. 2 more guns on him.
All right, you two, hold it. Here comes Chief. Yeah, I'll get these guns together here. Lacombe, he's not much of a fighter.
Not without a gun. The suspects were booked at different divisions to keep them separated. Emil Thurston and Lloyd Newton were taken to Hollenbeck Park and booked on suspicion of armed robbery and murder. John Lacombe was booked at Highland Park Jail on the same charges. The other suspect, who had been wounded in the escape attempt, was identified as Harold Steves, 19 years old. He was treated for a leg wound at Georgia Street Receiving Hospital and then transferred to the prison ward at the county hospital. During the next 2 days, each of the suspects was questioned individually. Thurston, Lacombe, and Newton would admit nothing. The 19-year-old Steves broke down and agreed to turn state's evidence. We took his statement to Chief of Detectives Thad Brown.
Gentlemen, what did the boy tell you?
Just about everything, boss. They pulled the drugstore holdups and they killed that dance hall owner, Walter Conroy.
Which one of them?
Well, the kid says Thurston shot him. He says Thurston's the gang leader.
Good. You finally got a count on those guns you took off them?
Yeah, 12 of them. Each one of them was ready to go, bullet in every chamber.
Did you get a complaint from the DA's office yet?
They weren't rang. Preliminary hearing set for Monday.
Fine. You got them in jail. I'll put them in prison.
The apprehension of the criminal doesn't mean the end of a case for a police officer. He spends just as much time helping to convict the criminal after he's caught. Evidence must be gathered and authenticated and presented to the district attorney's office. If confessions are possible, they must be obtained and put in order. The officer must also help out in formulating the case and in testifying at the trial of a suspect. On October 30th, almost 3 months after the Thurston gang was apprehended, they were brought to trial in Superior Court. It was a routine affair. Harold Steves took the stand and told the story of the gang's activities. The victims identified the suspects and testified to the robberies. Both Ben and I took the stand and testified to the arrest and possession of guns by the defendants. We received no cross-examination. On the morning of March 2nd, the case went to the jury. Ben and I had lunch with Lieutenant Rombo from robbery in the City Hall cafeteria, and it was 5 minutes past 1 when we got back to the office.
Well, it sure was good soup today.
Yeah, it was a nice lunch. You want to check the mail?
I didn't yet.
Oh, I'll get it. Robbery Friday. Yeah? When? Right. Lacombe and Thurston. They just broke jail. Within 7 minutes, a dragnet for the escaped criminals had been thrown around the entire city. Chief of Detectives Thad Brown directed the operation. At 14 minutes past 1, he called us to the photocopy room. The machines were turning out duplicate mug shots of Thurston and Lacombe for distribution at the rate of 1 every 4 seconds.
You want us to stand by, Chief?
For the moment, yeah. We got all the help we need on the street.
How'd they pull the break, anyway?
Slugged the deputy when he brought in their lunch. Used a steel leg from one of the benches in the prisoner's tank.
Yeah?
They beat the deputy right into the ground, but he held on to Newton. He didn't get away.
How'd Thurston and Lacombe ever get out of the building?
He saw a real freak. They slugged the elevator man and got down to the basement. Right then, an ambulance crew was wheeling a body in the morgue. The attendant left the ignition keys in the ambulance.
Shouldn't be too rough to track them if they're in an ambulance.
Tougher than you think.
How those copies coming, Frank? Fast as we can make them, Chief. I have another batch for you in a minute.
You had any reports at all yet, boss?
Couple. They're moving fast.
Frank, you want to get that? I can't see in this dark room.
Yeah, I'll get it. Yeah? Chief Brown in there? Yeah, come on in.
Now, Walker, what do you got?
Chiller dry, was it? Oh, yeah.
Now, what do you got?
Gas station out on Sunset. Lacombe and Thurston just held it up.
We picked up our car in the City Hall garage and drove out to the service station on the corner of Sunset Boulevard and Lorraine Drive. Detectives Ruiz and Stromwall from robbery were already on the scene. The two escapees had abandoned the ambulance there, robbed the station of $56 in currency, and stolen a 1938 gray Packard coupe, license number 7 Robert 6336. We left the station and started to cruise the area. It was 1:55 p.m.
Attention all units, attention all units.
Get it up, Gil.
6380 North Sunset at 211 in progress. 6380 North Sunset at 211 in progress. Code 3.
This is the 6100 block.
Yeah, come on.
At 6380 North Sunset.
Yes, look. Maybe. Push it. Hey, that car pulling out up ahead there.
A gray coupe.
Wait a minute. 7 Robert, that's them.
Lights changing. They can't make it.
They're going through. They're skidding.
They hit the lamppost. Broke it off.
All right, pull up. Come on.
Right.
All right, let's go.
Lucky if they live through this one.
Yeah. All right, come on. Help me with this door.
Yeah, all right.
Pull. Can you take him?
Yeah.
I'll get Lacombe.
You look okay?
Yeah. Get Thurston out of here.
Right. Come on, you. Come on. Yeah.
All right, Lacombe, come on.
I'll give you a gun. I'll kill you.
Oh, sure you will. Come on.
I'll kill you.
All right, don't try to walk. How's Thurston, Ben?
Seems okay. Couple of scratches.
All right, sit down over there.
Lacombe slugged the guard.
It's funny. They don't look very tough.
They can't play their part. They haven't got their guns.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On March 3rd, 1947, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 91, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to Fatima. Here are the actual figures. New York Division.
Fatima sales up 132%.
Chicago Division.
Fatima sales up 453%.
Los Angeles Division.
Fatima sales up 545%.
Yes, in 1949, more and more smokers discovered that Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
They found Fatima extra mild.
They found Fatima has a much different, much better flavor.
They found the name Fatima means the best in cigarette quality.
In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself. Best of all long cigarettes.
Emil Thurston, John Lacombe, and Lloyd Newton were convicted of first-degree murder and robbery and sentenced to life terms. For turning state's evidence, 19-year-old Harold Steves received special consideration. As a result of the jailbreak, Thurston and Lacombe were convicted of assault and escape. They are now serving life terms in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Acting Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Dragnet honors the city of Pasadena, state of California, and the men who make up the Pasadena Police Force, another of America's great law enforcement agencies. One of these men, Chief of Police Clarence H. Morris, traffic specialist and veteran police administrator, dedicates his life to making yours more secure.
Fatima Cigarettes, the best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, portion transcribed from Los Angeles.
Be sure to hear songs by Morton Downey tonight on NBC.
Escape tonight to occupied France and the underground. The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Escape, a new series of programs of which this, the second, is Operation Fluer de Lis, written and directed by William N. Robeson. Today, the 14th of July, the people of a free France celebrate the anniversary of their escape from the tyranny of the kings of Versailles. 158 years ago today, the people of Paris stormed the Bastille and let loose the French Revolution. The torch of liberty set afire that day never burned more fiercely than during the years when France was occupied by the Nazis. We escape tonight to occupied France, from which 3 years ago there was no escape.
You can call me Duke, but don't use my right name. I might want to go back to France someday. And there are a lot of people in the world that wouldn't understand that what I did was justified in the war. No, I don't have any regrets. Moral ones, that is. It isn't what I did to Renee that keeps me awake at night. Just the memory of her. There isn't much about her in my official report on Operation Fluer de Lis, but then it isn't customary to include descriptions of slim, sunburned legs and wide, deep brown eyes in a military document. And anyway, she was only an incident in the operation, even if she became somewhat more important to me. Operation Fluer de Lis began, like all the others, in the grubby, undistinguished house in London, which was the headquarters of the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services, otherwise known in various parts of the world as screwballs, cutthroats, spies, cloak and dagger boys, and American underground agents.
Gentlemen, Operation Fluer de Lis is planned to assist the advance of our forces once they've secured a beachhead in Normandy.
Is that where we're going in, Major?
That is one of the possibilities, Lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
You will jump over Grandmont in northern France, here on the map. You have to set up roadblocks on these 3 state highways. Here, here, and here.
There is an underground contact near Grandmont?
Yes, Alcine Dutton. He's leader of the local Marquis. He's expecting him. In addition, you have to block these railroad lines entering and leaving Grandmont. These operations are to coincide with the advance of our ground forces.
If they land in Normandy.
If they land in Normandy. You will enplane tonight at 2100 hours and will drop over your objective at, I should think, approximately 2230. Any questions?
No, I don't think so, sir. Well, yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes, Lieutenant?
How many of us are going on this mission?
Just the 2 of you.
Just the 2 of us. And all we had to do was organize an underground army, disrupt the supply lines of a half a dozen Nazi divisions, and give support to the entire Allied invasion. Just the 2 of us. But that's the way the OSS works. And nobody ordered Hill and me into it. We volunteered. I don't know why. Maybe for moments like this one, when you get a B-24 assigned to you as a personal taxi, and there's lots of room to sprawl around after bombing.
How do you feel?
Fine.
Scared?
Of course I'm scared, aren't you?
Me? No. This is a walk. You forget how tough it was when we were at parachute school at Benning.
Yeah, that was real rugged.
If the wind wasn't right, you might land in the Chattahoochee and get all wet.
And it was always a chance that you'd sprain your ankle coming down too hard.
And the sun was so bright on some of those daylight jumps.
Whereas we got none of those things to worry about here. A nice, thick, black night over France. No sun to blind us. No Chattahoochee River to fall into.
Hey, Lieutenant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Skipper wants to talk to you on the intercom.
Thanks.
Here, use my can.
Thank you. Duke here.
Lieutenant, I'm over here at Jack Webb.
Any signal from the ground?
Yes, one arranged. 4 dots, 2 dashes, 3.
Very well.
You and Lieutenant Hill move into the bomb bay catwalk. I'll open bomb bay doors in 30 seconds.
Roger.
Good luck.
Thanks. Sergeant, stand by to jump those supplies as soon as we're clear. Yes, sir. Come on, Ed. This, as someone has said, is it.
So soon? Just as I was settling down a good foot.
Bomb bay doors are opening, sir. Okay, Sergeant. All right, Ed, let's check your harness.
It's a frightful mess. I just can't seem to do a thing with it.
I know, but this is the last party. You'll have to wear it on. Okay. How am I?
Well, don't look now, but your chute's showing.
Tuck it in. Let's get out on that catwalk.
Wow, what a refreshing breeze.
And all of France at our feet.
You see the signal?
That's what I'm looking for. There it is. Over to the left. Got it?
Got it. Let's go.
The kid. Serious kid. It helps. But for those 10 seconds while you ball free, nothing helps. You hang on to the ripcord and you count off the seconds and you try not to count too fast. Your hand on that ripcord is the only certain thing in the world as you tumble head over teacup with the wind carrying sound from your ears. And there's only one thought, always the same thought, whether it's your first or your 50th jump. Will the chute open? It does. Yanking at your armpits, knocking the breath out of you, slowing you down, and you swing there like a rag doll trying to get your bearings. First, you make out the horizon. That's where the black becomes darker black, where the stars stop. And you wonder about Ed, but you can't risk calling out. And now that you're located where the stars are, you look for the signal light, and there it is, slightly to the left. So you tug at your shroud line, spilling a little air to guide you toward it. And it's coming toward you awfully fast. And you hope this particular French patriot has picked out a field free of trees and church steeples. And then you try to remember all the things they taught you about hitting the ground and rolling with the wind and collapsing your chute. Because it's always like this. You always feel like you've never hit the silk before. And then you're down, and you roll just right, and you collapse your chute, and it's second nature to you after all. And then you hear footsteps running towards you. And you remember another important instruction. You whip out your automatic, and you hope your French is good enough to get you by. Eva, who is it?
Alpine here.
Fleur.
Lee.
Okay, Alpine, come on.
At last you've arrived, Lieutenant.
So it seems.
You have no idea how long we've wished for this moment.
Hold it. That's my partner. Come on. Hey, Ed.
Over here, Duke.
You okay?
My empennage is slightly damaged, otherwise okay.
This is Alphine, our contact. Alphine, Lieutenant Hill.
Oh, Alphine.
Lieutenant, it is a great pleasure to make your acquaintance. And on behalf of my countrymen...
Now, let's get these chutes buried and blow this place. Where's your transportation, Alphine?
We haven't any.
Where? Where's the safe house?
You might be able to stay at my aunt's. I don't think she'd talk.
You don't think, aren't you sure?
Oh, yes, I'm supremely confident that
Where are the Germans?
They're everywhere. And that is why I'm so glad you're here. Now we can fight again. With your help, we will kill many Boches.
Wait a minute. How many are there in your Marquis?
Myself and 2 others.
Just 3 of you?
Oh, my aching back.
But now that the Americans are here, we can do anything.
Oh, why don't they get these things straight in London? How can we block roads with a 3-man Marquis?
3 men and an aunt who perhaps will not talk.
Well, let's get cracking.
Duke, you're not going through with this mad venture, are you?
What would you suggest?
Well, as for me, I'm all for taking the next plane back to London.
Another piece of bread, Lieutenant.
No, thank you, ma'am.
This bone chicken is delicious. How do you call it?
K-ration.
Supreme. We've had nothing like it since the boss came.
Yeah, well, you get used to it.
And cigarettes, Aunt Marie. Cigarettes made of real tobacco. You Americans have everything.
Madame, Alphine, you are kind, you are hospitable. But the comforts of K-ration will not block roads. We need men. We must form a Marquis.
But we have a Marquis.
Look, Alphine, there are 3 of you and 2 of us. Sure, we've got guns and we've got ammunition and supply chutes somewhere out in that field where we landed. We've got arms for 50 men. But if we had those men, we still couldn't go to war against the German division.
Now, you said yourself there's at least a division garrisoned in Grammont.
What must we do?
First, we must organize a Marquis. We need men. Can you get them?
I can go into the village and talk to my friends.
Should have done that a long time ago.
Faustine, that would be most unwise.
Why?
Didn't you know? Faustine is a patriot. He's a deserter from the Vichy army, so he's wanted by the Gestapo.
Oh, great. And there's a Gestapo headquarters in Grammont, of course.
Of course. Faustine is not one to run from danger.
Quite the contrary.
I can get Renee to help.
Who's Renee?
Alphine's sweetheart. A lovely girl from Paris. Poor thing. She had to come down to the country because our house was bombed out.
Let's leave her out of this.
But, Lieutenant, she would be most happy to help.
Alcine, you got a lot to learn about guerrilla warfare. You might as well study your first lesson right now. It's short and to the point. No games. Well, the next day, we collected the supplies, which had been dropped with us, and we set up a camp deep in the woods. Hill and I were loaded with French money, so we were able to buy food from the friendly farmers. Maybe it was the food as much as patriotism that brought us recruits. Anyway, after a week, we had nearly 30 men. Our marquee wasn't big enough for the job we had to do, but it was growing in the right direction. And then one night, as I was winding up a report for London...
Oh? What do they say?
What do they ever say? Message acknowledged. Carry on.
Well, what about new batteries for the radio? What about extra ammunition for the Buck Rogers guns? When are they going to get another drop to us?
Why don't you ask them?
Yeah, I know.
They do the best they can, I guess. After all, we're not the only Boy Scouts in this jamboree.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Duke. Yeah?
There goes Alcine again, off toward the road.
What? Hey, Alcine.
Yes?
Come here a minute.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Where are you going?
I was just taking a stroll.
You on night guard?
Not tonight.
You weren't on night guard last night, were you?
No, Lieutenant.
Or the night before?
No, sir.
But you weren't in camp all night, were you?
No, sir.
What's the matter? Don't you like the camp? Rather sleep at your aunt's? Is it too rugged out here for you?
No, sir.
Then where were you?
In the village.
You know the orders. No one is to go into the village.
Yes, Lieutenant, but I only go in at night.
That makes no difference.
But it does. You see, Lieutenant, I'm so in love.
Oh, great. The girl from Paris?
Yes. You should see her, Lieutenant. She's the most beautiful, the most charming.
So don't you know you're endangering the whole marquee by disobeying my orders?
Oh, no, sir. There's no danger with Renee. She hates the bush. Why, she wants to join us.
You've told her about us?
Oh, yes, sir.
Are you out of your mind? How do you know she's all right?
I just know that's all. She's the most wonderful person in the world. She's a real patriot.
I told you, rule number 1 is no game.
Yes, but Renee is different.
Yeah. Well, you better marry her before you bring her around here, or you'll have to share her with the rest of these wolves.
Lieutenant, do I understand you?
Forget it, Elsie. It's just an American figure of speech.
May I tell Renee she can join us?
Oh, not quite yet. Later, maybe.
Yes, Lieutenant. Is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
If you got to take it, Alcine, take it easy.
I do not understand.
Just another American idiom, Elsie. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Hey, Duke. You gonna let him get away with that? Well, what are we gonna do?
Slap him into the guardhouse for 30 days.
Only this isn't the American Army. We haven't any guardhouse.
Yeah, thanks from a security standpoint.
I know. If we try to keep these boys from sneaking off home every now and then, we're not gonna have any marquee.
These French. An immoral race.
I don't know about that. Remember Phoenix City, Alabama?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
There wasn't anything we could do. If we'd ordered Alcine to stay in camp, he'd have sneaked off anyway. He had that dreamy, faraway look that's baffled parents, teachers, and first lieutenants since the beginning of time. I didn't worry too much about it because our marquee was growing, and Ed Hill and I were breaking our backs pushing those French kids through an airsoft basic in 3 weeks. Headquarters in London didn't tell us much, but we did know from the BBC that the boys had landed at Omaha Beach, and it wouldn't be long before they'd be needing our roadblock. And then one morning, about D+4, I think it was, I was out in the woods running a squad through concealment.
Oh, no. Hit the dirt. Don't wait or you're dead. When you see the signal, hit the dirt right now.
Pardon me, Lieutenant.
Huh? Oh, I'll see. Where have you been all night as though I didn't know?
Lieutenant, I've got to talk to you.
Okay, I'll be through here in a half hour or so.
I've got to talk to you now.
Huh? All right, Elsie.
Okay, boys, take 5.
Come along, Elsie. What's on your mind?
Lieutenant, my family's been killed.
Oh, no.
Yes, by the Gestapo. Set fire to the house.
My mother, my father, my two sisters. They ran out. The Gestapo shot them. You're sure of this? Yes, I heard it this morning from the neighbor who saw it happen. The poor kid. When can we attack, Lieutenant? When can we stop this endless training and fight the Boche? No, I want only to kill and kill and kill until I pay them back for my father, my mother, my two sisters.
Yeah, I know. You'll get your chance, Alcine, but not yet. We gotta wait. We're not ready yet.
I'm ready. Before I wanted to fight the Boche for my country. Now I want to kill him again and again. For them.
I know, but you gotta be patient.
It should happen to me now. Only last night Renee said she'd marry me. Come to live here with me, and he came. I was so happy. And this morning I learned this news.
When did you hear from your mother last?
Not for a month since we began to work, but I've written her every week.
Yeah? Who mailed the letters?
Renee mailed them for me. She's so kind and thoughtful. She offered to mail letters home for the other boys, too.
Nice of her. Did they take advantage of her offer?
A couple of them.
Who?
Paul and Sean. I told them about it. They wrote their family.
And Renee mailed the letters, huh?
She's a wonderful person, Lieutenant. You're going to love her.
Yeah, I think I am.
She's all I've got in the world now.
2 and 2 make 4 in occupied France, just the same as anywhere else. And sometimes it's just as hard to prove. But one thing was sure. Now I wanted to meet Renee in the worst way. But I had to postpone the pleasure because early that afternoon one of the outposts broke into camp out of breath. Yes, Paul.
The Boche. They're coming down the road through the forest.
How many?
I did not stop to count them. Several truckloads, to be sure.
Pass the word to Lieutenant Hill. Ask him to bring his detail into camp on the double.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Alcine.
Yes, sir?
Take 2 men and go down to the road and see what they're up to.
Yes, sir.
Just reconnoiter. Don't fire at them.
But this is my chance for revenge.
Listen to me. Don't fire at them. That's a command.
Yes, sir.
They may not be after us at all. Now get going.
Immediately, Lieutenant.
What's the order of the day, Duke?
Lance Graham? Yeah, looks like it. All your men here?
Presently accounted for.
All right, boys, now gather around, will you, and get this. There's a convoy of Germans coming down the forest road. Now, wait a minute. We're not going to fight them. You know what our job is. Roadblock. We got tanks, artillery, and airplanes that'll be along soon to do the killing. Now, look, our security's been pretty good. And those Krauts may be on a routine patrol. Chances are they don't even know we're here.
They do now. Listen.
Yeah. Well, that does it. All right. Your men got your weapons?
Yeah.
Good. Now, you know the procedure. Get lost. Before you leave the forest, bury your weapons, ammunition, and equipment. Rendezvous at the home of Alcine's aunt at 2200 hours tonight. Good luck. Come on, Ed. Let's scram.
Well, he who doesn't fight and runs away lives to fight another day.
Something like that.
Who tipped them off?
I'm not sure, but I got a pretty good idea.
Who's down there at the road?
Alcine. He's fighting a private war, the poor jerk. The basic rule of 3 in guerrilla warfare is surprise, kill, vanish. However, when you're surprised, the only rule is vanish. And we did. There were about 50 Germans and a half a dozen dogs to track our scent. They spent the day thrashing through the woods, firing into the underbrush, and finding nothing. What a classic withdrawal. And Hill and I were proud of our little army, with the exception of Alcine, its self-appointed hero. When we arrived at his aunt's house that night for the rendezvous, a half a dozen of the boys were already there.
Who is it?
Fleur.
Julie. Ah, Lieutenant, come in.
Good evening, madame.
Alcine is already here. I'm so proud of him.
Ah, Lieutenant, I was just telling Aunt Marie and the boys it was magnificent. I got 2 of them. I killed 2 Boche.
Your orders were not to shoot.
But, Lieutenant, what would you?
What happened to the other boys that were with you?
Jean was wounded and captured. Antoine became frightened and ran away.
That blows the Marquis. I'll get the full particulars from Jean. They haven't got him already.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant, but...
Quiet. Answer it, madame.
Who is it?
Look.
Julie.
Open it.
Good evening, madame.
Come in, boys.
Run in any trouble, boys?
As you see, we are here.
Yeah.
But not for long. Lieutenant,
yes,
Raoul and I wish to withdraw from the Marquis.
Quit? Why?
The risk is too great.
You afraid?
For myself, no. But after what happened to John.
He was wounded and captured. We all take that risk.
Yes, but last night the Gestapo got Jean's family. Like you did Alcine.
No.
Stood them up in front of their house and shot them. Who knows who'll be next? My mother, Raoul's sister, Alcine's aunt. I wish to withdraw.
I don't know why. Right, now, wait a minute. I don't blame you for being worried about your family. But whose families do you think the British and American armies up in Normandy are fighting to liberate? Their own? No, yours. Now, this thing isn't as bad as it looks. There's been a leak in our security. Somebody's been putting a finger on it. So we lay low until the leak's plugged.
But the Germans are everywhere. Spies, perhaps, too, are everywhere.
I think I know who's responsible for these murders. I'll make a deal with you. Give me a couple of days to work it out. We'll issue you boys some money, and all you've got to do is to get lost until Saturday night. And then meet me back here. If I haven't patched up our security by then, you can all quit the Marquis and become collaborators.
Oh, it's not that, Lieutenant.
No one wishes to collaborate.
Well, one must think of one's family.
Okay. Ed. Yeah, dude. Give the boys 1,000 francs apiece.
Right. Come and get it, boy. Come on.
Alcine.
Yes, my lieutenant?
I'm going to have a little time on my hands for the next couple of days. Do you think you could arrange to introduce me to your girlfriend?
Oh, but of course, Lieutenant.
Maybe. If it's okay, like you say, we can let her sign up.
I am desolated with happiness, Lieutenant.
One thing. None of that lieutenant business around here until I make sure she's all right.
Very well.
You think my French is good enough to pass as a native?
But of course, Lieutenant.
All right, then pass me off as a friend of yours. Let's see, I'll need a name. Let's call me Jacques Dufresne.
Jacques Dufresne. Good, I will make the arrangements immediately.
I thought you'd like an excuse to get into town tonight. The next afternoon, Alcine brought the girl out to the woods near his aunt's house. I stood behind a tree to watch and make sure they weren't being followed. She was all right. Tall, long, sunburned legs, her hair caught in a blue ribbon like a little girl's. I let them walk by, and then I stepped from behind my tree.
Oh, there you are, Jacques.
Hello, Alcine.
Rene, this is my good friend, Jacques Dufresne. He's from Paris, too. Jacques, this is Rene de Cibourg.
Glad to meet you, mademoiselle.
And I'm honored to meet you, monsieur. Where do you live in Paris?
Near the Port du Lilas, but my home is no longer there. It was bombed out.
Alas, so is mine.
My family remain with friends, but I've come out into the country to fight with the resistance.
Jacques has much influence with the commander of our Marquis.
Oh, I hope you will be able to persuade him to let me join you, monsieur.
I shall do what I can.
It would be a privilege and an honor to work with a patriot like you.
See, Jacques, I told you Rene was all right.
You didn't tell me the half of it. Mademoiselle, you understand that we must be cautious. There are questions I must ask of a confidential nature.
Why don't we meet again? Alone.
Why not?
Say, tonight? I have a little car. We might take a drive.
Fine.
But, Rene, you promised me that...
You see me some other time next year. Remember, France comes first.
We just drove that night. She was wearing a white ribbon in her hair and a loose white dress and no stockings. We just drove around in her little Citroën with the top down and the wind blowing her hair like a girl in a magazine ad. Then we came back about midnight and parked for the bridge. I felt like I was back in high school in Illinois.
Look at those stars.
Yeah.
So many of them. So close you can almost reach out and touch them.
Yeah.
I had them all once. I reached out and gathered them all in my arms once.
Yeah?
I want you to know all about me, Jack.
I want to.
Don't think it's wrong of me. But I've been in love.
There's nothing wrong in being in love.
He is a soldier.
Most everybody is these days.
A German soldier.
Oh.
Don't you think that love is bigger than war or hate or anything?
Yeah, I guess so.
He's dead now.
That's good. I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm not sorry he's dead.
I'm so confused. I want to understand things. I I want to be intelligent about things. Everything is so mixed up. Like now.
Like now?
Yes. But I've never been so happy as I am tonight.
Not even with the German?
Not even with him. Why does it have to rain? Why do those blessed stars have to go out one by one to make way for another day of war? Why can't we stop time? You and I. Gather all the stars together. Just for us.
I don't know, baby. Never been done before. But we can try. Yeah.
Tomorrow night?
Same time, same place. Forever if you say the word.
Forever?
Sure, why not? Who knows how long forever is in this crazy world? Why not have it together? Why not get married?
Why not, my most beloved?
See you tomorrow night.
I'll only be half alive until then. Sherry, if you want to write to your family in Paris, give me the letter tomorrow night, and I'll mail it for you.
Oh, no.
All right, drop that rock and grab a sock. Rise and shine, lover boy. I brought you a cup of chocolate. Figured you want breakfast in bed this morning.
Okay.
How'd you make out last night?
Okay.
Details? What's up with details?
Nothing much to report. We drove, and then we parked for a while and talked.
Did you give anything away?
No information. She's a funny kid. Her dialogue is as corny as a bobby sock. She knows she's pretty, so she wants to be admired for her mind. But I'm sure she's Armada Hari.
How come?
She offered to mail a letter to my family.
That's consistent.
I asked her to marry me.
What?
She didn't believe me, but she pretended like she's in. Oh, I don't know why she's doing what she's doing. Thrills, maybe.
French juvenile delinquent.
Maybe. Tonight's the night.
The night you get married?
No, the night we get her. The boys are meeting us here at midnight, you know.
What's the plan?
Well, I'll take another ride with her. And about midnight, we'll be back and park for the bridge. You be there out of sight. I'll have some brandy along, and I'll slug her drink with a capture pill. When she's passed out, I'll give you the come on, and you join me. Here, baby, have another drink, huh?
I shouldn't. Brandy always makes me sleepy.
Well, what of it? This is a celebration of our engagement.
Oh, kiss me, Jack. Again and again.
Sure.
Jack, the stars are near. Nearer than they've ever been.
Nearer than you think, baby.
I love you, Jack. I do love you. Kiss me again. Do it again. And again.
Willie. Baby. I just sleep. You collaborationist pig, can you hear me? Okay, Ed.
She out?
Like a red light in an air raid. Here's her purse. Start through it while I untangle myself.
Now, take a look at this.
What is it?
A letter from Gestapo headquarters confirming receipt of 3 addresses.
Let me see that. Well, that one's Alcine's family, and that one's Jean's.
And here's the Gestapo identification card.
Flash your light over there. Look at her.
What a dish.
Look at that kisser. And she's responsible for the death of 6 people whose only crime was being born French. She wrecked our marquee, snafu our mission, and turned me over to the Gestapo with his lipstick still on my collar. That gorgeous hunk of double-cross. Now we got the proof. Let's get on with it.
Okay. I guess you'd rather I know.
No, this is my job.
Gee, she's gorgeous.
Yeah. honey. Thanks.
She ain't so gorgeous now.
Release that handbrake. Got it. Come on, shove. Not yet. Keep that steering wheel straight. The river's deepest right at the center of the bridge. Yeah. Now, hard right on the wheel. You know something, Ed? Huh? I think she finally did gather that armful of stars. Sure, the operation was successful. When the time came, our roadblocks tied up 3 German divisions while Patton rolled on to the east. But I still lie awake at night thinking I should have married that dame. Yeah, the operation was successful, but the patient died.
Operation Fleur de Lis was written, directed, and produced by William N. Robeson with Jack Webb as Duke, Elliot Lewis as Hill, Peggy Weber as Renee, and Harry Bartell as Alcine. Operation Fleur de Lis was based on an incident from the files of the OSS, recorded in Sub Rosa by Stuart Alsop and Thomas Braden. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Pure. Escape is presented by CBS and its affiliated stations each week at this time. Next week, we invite you to escape with F. Scott Fitzgerald in his unforgettable story, The Diamond as Big as the Ritz. And so, good night, until next week, when again it will be time to escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. 2 armed bandits have robbed a large jewelry store in your city. One of the suspects escapes. One is apprehended. He's identified as a friend of yours. Your job, send him to prison.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima. Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. And that's why Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima is doubling and redoubling its smokers. So, if you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, February 8th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way over from the city hall, and it was 8:35 p.m. when I got to the second floor of the Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. Treatment room.
Joe, hi.
Hi, Doc. Ben, how's it going?
Okay. It hurt for a while. Doc gave me an injection.
1/6 of a grain of morphine, Novocaine injection.
The bullet still in your shoulder?
Doc's about ready to take it out.
As soon as I get the wound cleaned, here's the soap and water, nurse. Alcohol sponge, please.
How's it look, Doctor?
Well, there's the X-ray. Shallow penetrating wound in the deltoid area. Sludge, larger than the soft tissue right here.
Oh, yeah.
No bone involvement. Lucky the bullet was spent.
That's good. Feel okay?
Sure.
Nurse, methylate applicators, please. All right. Let's see now.
Where'd you leave Tyler, Joe?
Interrogation room. Reynolds and Thompson are with him.
Let me have the probe, nurse. Yeah. Feel anything, Romero?
No.
That's it. You hear that?
Hear what?
Located the slug with a probe.
Oh.
Nurse, faucet. Thanks. Here we go. Oh, steady.
You call your wife?
No, she don't worry.
Here it is, boys. On the market for evidence?
Yeah, give it to me, will you? I will.
Nurse, sterile saline solution. Irrigate the wound.
No sign of Tyler's partner, huh, Joe? Guy got me?
No, not yet, no.
Sterile dressings, please.
How long did you know this Tyler? Before he went wrong with me.
I met him in the Army, helped him line up a job when he got on. It's too bad.
Sure is funny. Meeting a friend of yours pulled an armed robbery. Must have surprised you, huh?
Yeah, kind of. You want me to drive you home when the doc's finished, Jim?
Let's go back to the office and talk to Tyler first.
Okay. Is that all right, Doc?
No. You're staying right here, Romero, till tomorrow morning. If you haven't got a temperature by then, I might release her.
Oh, it's only a flesh wound, Doc. I feel all right.
I'm not taking any chances with gunshot wounds. If infection set in and you were laid up, I'd have the pension committee to answer to. You're staying here.
Sounds like an order.
It is. You can pick them up on the P&F floor tomorrow morning.
Okay. You going to need anything, Ben?
Yeah. I phoned to tell my wife I won't be home for dinner.
His name was Max Tyler, white, male American, age 32. Dark hair, brown eyes, medium build, married, father of twin boys. He was a friend of mine. We served together in the Army overseas, and when the war finished, I came back to my job on the force, and Max went back to his old job. It didn't fit him anymore. He stopped working and started drinking. His wife didn't help much. Max started with small trouble, but it grew fast. On the afternoon of February the 8th, Tuesday, Ben and I surprised two men holding up a Main Street jewelry shop. Shots were exchanged, and Ben received a flesh wound in the shoulder. One of the hold-up men escaped. The other one was apprehended. His name was Max Tyler. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Joe. Glad you got here. Tyler says he won't talk to anybody but you.
Okay, boy. Thanks for standing by.
Sure. I'll be outside if you need anything.
Max?
Joe?
You're in deep this time. You shot a cop.
I didn't. This guy was with me. I didn't fire once.
You were in on the job.
Yeah.
Men don't expect presents.
I don't expect anything, Joe. Glad you came back. I don't want to talk to those other cops.
I work in the same department they do. Same job.
Well, it's easier to talk to you.
What's your story?
I was crazy to try it. No alibis, Joe, but I didn't know what I was doing. Believe me, I just didn't realize.
I won't buy it, Max. You told me the same thing 14 months ago when they picked you up for those bum checks you were passing.
Sure, I hung some paper, but I'm no hood, Joe. You know that. I was drinking. I needed dough for Dorothy and the kids. You got to believe me. I need a break.
You said that before, too. I went to bat for you. Got off with 6 months and 3 years probation. Now you turn up with another caper.
I know, Joe. I know. I'm sorry.
You're sorry once, Max, and it works, but one free ride's enough for anybody. Now, that's it.
Did I say I wanted that kind of a break? I'll serve my time, Joe. I'll serve every day I owe.
And then what can you tell me you couldn't have told the other cops?
I want to ask you a favor.
Yeah?
I know you're going to hook me on this. So while I'm doing my time, Dorothy and the kids are staying with relatives out in Inglewood. Just keep an eye on them, you know, Joe. I don't mean dough. Dorothy can work with. Kind of watch out for them, huh? Give them a break, Joe. It's not their fault. You do it, Joe?
Yeah. Sure, I'll take care of it. Now, you do something for me.
Anything you want, guy.
Let's have the straight story. Who was the guy with you on that hold-up this afternoon?
Cresta, George Cresta. You know him.
Out of Folsom? Short guy, black hair?
Yeah. He's got a room above the Red Owl Bar down on East 3rd near Broadway. That's where he hangs out.
Where can we find Cresta now?
Oh, maybe there. I don't know. I'll give you a list of the places he goes. Some of his friends I've met. He sure roped me in. Said there was going to be an arrest.
You were carrying an S&W 38?
Sure. When they got outside the jewelry shop, Cresta jammed the gun in my hand. I had to put it away, get it out of sight. Believe me, Joe, he roped me into this. It sounds like an alibi, I know.
This is your second time around, Max. It sounds like one.
Okay, I got nothing coming. Don't forget about Dorothy and the kids. Huh?
I promised you. Now, you want to give me a full statement on the holdup now?
Anything you say, Joe.
I'll call for a stenographer.
Joe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I am.
I believe you. You got the feeling too late, that's all. Max Tyler was arraigned in municipal court 2 days later. Bail was set at $10,000. 3 days after that came his preliminary hearing in municipal court. At his arraignment in Superior Court, 5 weeks after he'd been apprehended, Tyler entered a plea of not guilty. A date was set for his trial in Superior Court. Meantime, the hunt for George Cresta, Max's accomplice, went on. There wasn't a sign of him. Our informants had no lead on him, and the all-points bulletin containing all the information we had on Cresta brought in nothing. On Monday, March 22nd, the trial of Max Tyler was held in Superior Court. Ben and I were subpoenaed to appear. The victim of the holdup, the jewelry store manager, was the first to testify. He was questioned by both the prosecutor and the counsel for the defense. He left the stand at 11:25 a.m.
If it please, Your Honor.
Counsel for the defense.
Before the next witness testifies, I'd like permission to approach the bench.
Permission granted. Counsel for the prosecution may also approach.
Wonder what that's all about, Joe.
Something's up.
Hey, look. Judge is shaking his head. Public defender's going back to the counsel's table.
Counsel for the defense.
Your Honor, it is my client's desire to change his plea to guilty.
Defendant rise and face the court. Max Tyler, is that your true name?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the 12th day of March of this year, in Superior Court, Department 83, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California, you've heretofore been arraigned on the charge of robbery in the first degree. At that time, you pled not guilty to the charge in question. Is it now your desire to change that plea?
Yes, sir, it is.
You've reached this decision of your own free will?
Yes, I have.
There's been no force employed, no promise of gratuity or reward to induce you to reach this decision?
No, sir.
Counsel for the prosecution.
Yes, Your Honor. Max Tyler, on the 12th day of March of this year in Superior Court, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California, you are arraigned on the charge of robbery in the first degree. That time you entered a plea as set forth in this information. How do you now plead? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Is it stipulated that at the time of the commission of the robbery, the defendant was armed with a deadly weapon, to wit, a revolver? So stipulated.
Court to fix the degree of robbery as robbery in the first degree.
Your Honor, in the interest of justice, the people move to dismiss count 2, assault with a deadly weapon.
At this time, Your Honor, the defendant waives time for sentencing and asks that he be sentenced immediately.
Just a moment. Max Tyler, it's the judgment of this court that on the 8th day of February of this year, you did enter the premises at 23108 East Main Street in the city, and there did attempt the felonious taking of personal property in the possession of another from his person in immediate presence and against his will. Further, said attempt was made while you were armed with a dangerous and deadly weapon. Max Tyler, this court finds you guilty of robbery in the first degree. Count 2 is dismissed.
Does it, Joe?
Decision of this court that you be returned to the county jail. Sheriff will transfer you to the state penitentiary where you will serve the sentence as prescribed by law. Court recess for 15 minutes.
Hey, Joe. Miss Tyler over there, she's taking it pretty hard.
Hey, come on, we better go see her. Hello, Dorothy.
I love him, Joe. What am I going to do without him? Children.
I'll give it you straight, Dorothy. You didn't do much to keep Max out of this. You drank right along with him. You don't
Joe,
deserve those kids. That's my opinion.
Please, I know it. Don't make it any harder. Don't.
I'll do anything I can for the kids, Dorothy. That's all.
What am I going to do without him? I can't be all alone without Max. It's not right. It's not right.
Neither's armed robbery. Goodbye, Dorothy. Before the end of March, Max Tyler was delivered to San Quentin State Penitentiary, where he started serving his term. His wife, Dorothy Tyler, got a job as a telephone operator. She and her children continued living with her relatives down in Inglewood. I helped them out whenever I could. 6 months went by. Every 2 weeks, faithfully, Tyler wrote me a letter from prison. I answered most of them. While Ben and I worked on other jobs, the search for George Cresta went on. We failed to uncover a single lead. 10 months passed. Tuesday, January 16th, 1949, 4 p.m. I checked in for work as usual.
Hi, Joe. Cold out, huh?
Yeah. Did you pick up the mail?
Mm-hmm. There's a letter in your box from San Quentin.
Tyler, huh?
How's he doing anyway?
Good. Clean record. Got himself a pretty fair job in the prison library.
Yeah.
I talked to the warden up there. Says Tyler ought to be eligible for parole in about a year if he keeps his nose clean.
You going to bat for Tyler again?
I don't know. See what happens.
How can you see anything in that guy? He's giving you nothing but trouble.
Well, a lot of people are giving him the same. Maybe that explains it.
Not for me, it doesn't. I wouldn't trust him with dirty laundry.
I get it. Robbery Friday.
Joe, this is Dorothy Tyler. I got to talk to you.
Yeah, Dorothy, what's the matter?
I found Krista. I saw him.
What?
George Krista. I know where he is. I saw him downtown. I followed him to his place.
You sure it was him?
I'm positive. He's staying at 134 Jesse Street. It's a rooming house just off Alameda. 134 Jesse.
Got it. Thanks, Dorothy. Come on, Ben. 8 minutes later, Ben and I were interviewing the landlord at 134 Jesse Street, a cheap rooming house down on the south end of the city. The landlord's name was Peterson. We showed him Cresta's mug shot, and he told us he was in room 11. We went up a dark, narrow stairway to the second floor.
And here we are, number 11.
All right, stand clear. I'll try the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's open.
Yeah. Joe, have a look. He's asleep.
He's passed out. Come on, slip the cuffs on him.
That was easy.
Yeah. All right, I got his gun.
He's been drinking, all right. He'll have a big hangover.
He'll have a long time to get over it. George Cresta was booked at county jail on suspicion of robbery. 2 months and 3 weeks later in Superior Court, he was tried and convicted of assault with a deadly weapon and first-degree robbery and sentenced to the state penitentiary. The day after Cresta was sentenced, I was called to the office of Chief of Detectives Thad Brown.
Friday, this Max Tyler is coming up for parole in a couple of months. He's a friend of yours, isn't he?
That's right, in a way.
You've been writing letters to the warden. You've talked to the parole board about him. Understand you're helping on his kids.
A few presents. They haven't had much of a break. They're just youngsters.
You're working hard to get Tyler's parole. Do you think he's worth it?
Well, I was off both him and his wife, and then she gave us that tip about Cresta, and Tyler's got such a good record up at Q, I figured they'd earned another chance.
You're sticking your chin out, Joe, helping a con to get a parole. I think you'll realize that.
Well, I believe he's a good risk now, Chief. He's pretty weak in some things. He needs direction, that's all. His wife's getting better. She might help more than she did.
I hope both of them are worth it.
If anything happens, I know I'm going to get it from all sides.
You really think some men deserve another chance, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
I wouldn't want you working for me if you didn't.
2 more weeks went by. Tuesday, April the 19th. Ben came down with a bad cold and had to lay off work. At the same time, a new gang started a hold-up campaign among the liquor stores out in the Wilshire district. A new rash of armed robberies broke out in the central area. There was an attempted bank robbery. It was a bad week. Ben got back to work on Saturday.
Rough time, huh, Joe?
Busy, yeah. Did you beat that cold all right?
Sure, I feel much better. Doctor gave me some new medicine. Works good.
Oh, that's fine. Maybe I'll knock off early tonight if nothing's doing.
That's a good idea. Shouldn't be too much tonight.
Teletype for you. Just came in.
Oh, thanks, Larry.
Sure.
What's the matter, Joe? What is it?
Max Tyler. He broke out of prison this morning.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. And now, here's an authentic report from Fatima Cigarettes.
In 1949, Fatima doubled, tripled, and quadrupled its smokers.
In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself.
You'll find Fatima extra mild.
Because Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobacco superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild.
You'll find Fatima tastes much better.
Fatima's superb blend gives you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
You'll find Fatima tops in cigarette quality.
Fatima has always stood for the best in cigarette quality. For a new year of great smoking enjoyment, buy Fatima in the appealing golden yellow package. You'll agree, Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
In the course of his career, the police officer is afforded two diverse views of the criminal. At first, the rookie cop is taught to distrust the criminal at every turn, without exception. He's schooled in the 1,001 ways in which the criminal operates, his psychology, his mode of operation. Then, when he's thoroughly acquainted with the methods of the criminal and how best to detect them, the police officer starts to learn the most difficult lesson of all: how to distinguish between the confirmed criminal and the lawbreaker, in whom there is hope of rehabilitation. After 9.5 years of police work, my first experiment in this field was with Max Tyler. I'd given him 2 chances to prove himself, and he'd lost on both of them. So did I. 2 months before his parole hearing, which might have given him his freedom, Max Tyler had suddenly decided to escape. How he figured it, I didn't know, but it was my job to find him. At 5 o'clock that afternoon, Ben and I met in the chief of detective's office. 2 officers, Holland and Grayson, from the State Adult Authority, escape detail, were there.
How did Tyler manage his escape, Grayson?
Well, same old story. They figured they could trust him up there. He had a good job on the prison farm. They trusted him.
When did they find out he was gone?
On the early morning count. Have you checked his relatives out in Inglewood yet?
Yeah, we have. We've got the home staked out. We're covering all the places we figure he might go.
How about Mrs. Tyler? You get in touch with her, Friday?
The relatives told us that she's on a weekend vacation with the 2 kids, staying with friends down at Laguna Beach.
We got a call in to them. Should be hearing from them soon.
I understand Tyler's a friend of yours, Friday. He was ready for parole.
Yeah. I was trying to help him along. I thought the guy deserved a break.
He didn't need you, Joe. He made his own.
Well, he was feeling bad. You weren't the only one fooled, Friday. You had the prison officials buffaloed, too.
Yeah, I know. I helped convince them. You got any leads on Tyler at all, Grayson? I mean, from the time he broke prison?
Pretty strange. They traced him as far as Stockton, and then they lost the trail completely.
The Stockton police in on the search?
Yeah, sure funny. The guy has no money, no car we know of, no change of clothes.
You figure he's getting help from somebody?
Could be.
Excuse me a minute. Brown speaking. Just a moment. You, Friday.
Oh, thank you. Friday? Yeah. When? Where? Just a minute. Will you hold on, please? It's the Tyler's friends down at Laguna Beach.
Mrs. Tyler there?
No, she called him last night about 7 o'clock. Told him she'd changed her plans. She wasn't coming.
She told them where she was going?
She wanted to know which highway would take her to Stockton. We told the Tyler's friends in Laguna Beach to contact us immediately if they heard from either Mr. or Mrs. Tyler. We got out an APB on Dorothy Tyler, and then we drove out to interview her relatives in Inglewood. They told us that Mrs. Tyler had the 2 children with her. She had left their house at 6 p.m. the night before by taxi. As far as they knew, she didn't own a car. We talked with some of her friends in the neighborhood. The only thing they could tell us was that she had not borrowed a car from any of them. We drove down to the telephone exchange where she was employed as an operator, and we spoke with a manager, Mr. Ralph Cartwright.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. This is Mrs. Tyler's night off. Is there something I can help you with?
When is Miss Tyler due back at work, Mr. Cartwright?
Well, she's working the 10 to 7 starting tomorrow, due in at 10 a.m.
Uh-huh. We understand that she's on a weekend vacation, huh?
Yes, you see, today was payday, so she asked me if she could have her check ahead of time. Said she had to have the money for the weekend.
Did you give her the check?
Oh, my, no. I couldn't give her the check ahead of time. But I did do her a favor, just to help her over the weekend.
What was that?
I loaned her my car.
We got a complete description of the car, together with a license number, and called the office. The information was broadcast to all units throughout the city and teletyped to all points in the state. Chief of Detectives Thad Brown ordered an immediate stakeout on the telephone exchange where Mrs. Tyler was employed. The stakeout at the home of Inglewood continued. Another day passed. We checked with the bank where Mrs. Tyler maintained her account. It was 10:25 a.m. when we got back to robbery detail.
Gentlemen, what'd you find out?
Miss Tyler closed her account 3 days ago, withdrew all her savings, $46.55.
They're not going to go far on that.
Any word about that car she borrowed?
Teletype came in about an hour ago. They found it just outside Santa Barbara, abandoned.
Anyone see the Tylers?
No reports.
I wonder how those poor kids are making out.
Yeah. He must be crazy, and his wife, too. If she was going to help him pull an escape, why'd she have to drag the kids along?
It's the way some parents figure, Friday. They owe their children nothing. The children owe them everything.
Call for you, Friday. Date on 2.
Oh, thanks, Larry. Friday.
This is Hopkins, Friday, on stakeout at the phone exchange.
Yeah, Bert.
Tyler woman came for a check. We got her.
Dorothy Tyler was brought into the city hall. With her was one of her children. He was delivered to the juvenile authorities for the time being. Mrs. Tyler was brought to the interrogation room. She refused to admit anything to the officers from the adult authority. She said she wanted to talk to me. I went in. She threw her arms around me and started crying.
Joe, you won't let him get Max, will you? You won't let him.
I'm after him as much as they are, maybe more. Where is he?
I can't tell you.
Why'd you do it, Dorothy? Why?
Oh, you know why, Joe. You know why. I had to see him. I had to be with Max.
It's a bum deal. You traded days for years.
They can't get him. If I don't tell them where he is, they won't find him.
They'll find him. He's got to eat, so do you and the kids. He has to go to work, and working with a gun is all he knows. He'll leave a trail. We'll find him.
Children. What have they done to the children? Where's Jimmy?
They're taking care of him. That's more than you did. Where's your other boy, Vance?
With Max. Max has him.
Oh, that's fine. You and Max ought to be real proud of yourselves.
I had to see him. You know that. I had to see Max.
Has he got a gun? Has he? Has he used it?
No. He just thought he might need it. He hasn't hurt anyone. I swear it.
You helped him escape, is that right? You helped him.
He needed help. I met him at San Rafael. We drove all night. He didn't hurt anyone, Joe. He hasn't hurt anyone.
Where is he now? Where is he? All right, Dorothy, we'll find him.
Joe, if I tell you, will you go alone? I can show you the way. Will you go alone?
Yeah.
All right. I'll take you to him, Joe. I trust you.
Yeah, I trusted him once, too. 5 p.m., Monday, April 25th. Dorothy, Tyler, Ben, and I got in the car and headed north for the coast town of Santa Maria. Acting under orders of Chief of Detectives Thad Brown, Larry Thompson from Robbery Detail followed in another car. Holland and Grayson from the State Adult Authority were with him. It was 10 minutes past 8 when we drove through the town of Santa Maria. Just outside the city, Dorothy Tyler directed us to turn off onto a dirt road. We drove about 2 miles. She told us to pull up.
Across that field. Shack by those trees.
Lonely out here.
I'll go with you, Joe. Maybe Max won't understand.
No, you stay here.
Joe, that car stopped here.
It's cops, Dorothy. It had to be. They won't shoot unless Max does.
But you promised. You said you'd go alone.
I'll go alone.
Friday?
Hello, Grayson.
Where is he? She tell you?
That shack over there across the field by that clump of trees.
He's got one of the kids with him, that right?
Yeah, he won't be any trouble.
He's armed. The cons up at Quentin say he won't be taken alive. They say he'll shoot it out.
They talk a lot.
You better let us take him. You're not getting paid for this one.
I'll take him alone. I made a promise.
That guy in the shack's in the habit of breaking promises.
I keep mine. Keep an eye on Miss Tyler, will you, Ben?
Thompson's watching her. I'm coming with you.
I told her I'd go alone.
There's 2 doors, front and back. Which one you going in?
Front.
I'll be around back. Careful, Jim.
Yeah. I'll be right back, Grayson. I started to cross the field. The shack was about 100 yards from the road. The field was uncultivated, and I wasn't sure of my footing. I stumbled over a tree stump. Halfway across the field, the lights in the shack went out.
Who's that? Who is it?
It's me, Max. Joe Friday. Max? Come on, open up. All right, Max.
Why the gun, Joe? I never thought you'd take me with a gun.
I never thought I'd have to kick down a door to get you. You've changed a lot, Max.
How'd you find me, Dorothy tell you? Where is she?
Outside. Your boy over there, Vance.
He's sleeping. He's okay.
Put out your hands. Put out your hands.
Oh. I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
You've been good to us. I won't try to explain.
Neither will I, Max. Come on.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 2nd, trial was held in Superior Court, City and County of Marin, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to Fatima. Here are the actual figures. New York Division.
Fatima sales up 132%.
Los Angeles Division.
Fatima sales up 545%.
St. Louis Division.
Fatima sales up 548%.
Yes, in 1949, more and more smokers discovered that Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
They found Fatima extra mild.
They found Fatima has a much different, much better flavor.
They found the name Fatima means the best in cigarette quality.
In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself. Best of all long cigarettes.
Max Tyler pleaded guilty to the charge of escape and was sentenced to the term as prescribed by law. He was returned to San Quentin and then transferred to Folsom Penitentiary, where he is now serving his sentence. You have just heard Dragnet, a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Acting Chief of Police, W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Dragnet honors the state of California and the men of the California Highway Patrol, another of America's outstanding law enforcement agencies. One of these men, Highway Patrol Commissioner Clifford E. Peterson, outstanding administrator and educator in the field of law enforcement, dedicates his life to making yours more secure.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet from Los Angeles.
Be sure to hear Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman in the Halls of Ivy starting tomorrow on NBC.
My name's Regan. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, International Detective Bureau. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Wednesday at 9, and CBS brings you Jeff Regan, Investigator, starring Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. So stand by for mystery and suspense and adventure in tonight's story of The Little Man's Lament.
They called it Margate Mansion, but the name didn't fit. It was a pile of old cement and cracked stucco held up by a half a dozen tired palm trees. The people inside didn't fit either. A crusty old lady who talked backwards, a redhead with an urge to travel fast. But it was Junior who won first prize. He was half Einstein and half Hollywood playboy. Only when this boy played, it was with poison. It started on a Tuesday. I was headed down Taft Avenue on my way to the laundromat. I had a date with a washing machine and a blonde cashier named Gloria. That's when a cab pulled up beside me and the Lion hopped out. He was blowing sparks out of a fat cigar. I could tell by the 50-cent smell that we had a new client.
Oh, Jeffrey, my boy, I'm glad I caught you.
Get back in the cab, Fatso, I'm busy.
But I have to talk to you. I was just going up to your apartment.
Have a good time. I'll be out all day.
Now, Jeffrey, is that any way to talk? After all I've done for you? After the many opportunities I've given you to help your fellow beings in distress?
I've worked 3 weeks without a rest. I gotta wash my socks.
Wash your socks? You can talk about a thing like that when I'm here to present you with a golden opportunity? An opportunity to demonstrate our humanitarian sentiments? A chance to lift one who's in trouble?
How much did you lift from him?
$100, and it's not a him, it's a her. Oh, it's really a simple job, Jeffrey. Very simple. I've just been over there. Lovely old house, fine old family. The Margates, flower of the old South.
Gone to see.
Well, yes, but you know how it is with descendants of old families. Fresh young growth choked back by the weeds of the old family stock. The fresh new plant smothered by decay and ruin.
Try Vigoro.
Regan, you don't seem to understand. We've been retained by Mrs. Margate. It's about her nephew, Hilary Margate. Strange youth, very strange youth indeed. If Mrs. Margate needs protection from him, I tell you it's a very serious matter.
Well, so's my laundry.
Regan, will you listen to me?
There's another choice?
Yes. See Mrs. Margate, root out the facts.
Get her a gardener.
She doesn't need a gardener. She needs you, and don't give me any more trouble.
Okay, sweetheart. Here.
You wait a minute. What's it?
My laundry. Put the shirts and socks in a washing machine, put 2 bits in the slot. And stay away from the blonde. She doesn't like cigar smoke.
Regan, this means you will see Mrs. Margate?
Don't try to be coy. You knew I'd see her the minute you stepped out of that cab. I walked up Vine and turned right past Franklin. All the places up there are old, but Margate Mansion was old when William S. Hart was Gene Autry. A bunch of turrets made out of wood that termites wouldn't look at. But I was looking at what was standing in the front bay window, looking at me. Red hair and wide eyes and a complexion like skim milk. She was what answered the door when I twisted the old-fashioned bell.
Hello. I saw you from the window.
Yeah, I saw you seeing me.
Come in. Come in, please.
Thanks.
I hope you don't mind the disorder. I'm afraid I don't... Your name?
Regan.
Oh. Sit here, Mr. Regan. Please don't mind the dust on the sofa. No one nice ever comes, so it doesn't matter. I like you. I want you to stay.
It shows.
You're not married or anything like that, Mr. Regan.
Nothing like that.
Oh, that's nice. I'm not married either, Mr. Regan.
I heard it was Mrs. Margate.
Oh, that's my aunt. I'm not married at all. Mr. Regan, you didn't just come to see my aunt.
I've got a lot of time.
Oh, I've been foolish again, haven't I? Oh, sometimes I get so mixed up. I'm...
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Yes, Mr. Regan.
What's your name?
Gwendolyn?
Mrs. Margate's niece.
Yes?
Hillary's your brother?
Yes, Mr. Regan. All those questions.
Business.
Business?
International Detective Bureau. Your aunt's on the line for $100 worth.
Detective?
Well, that's polite for it.
Oh, you shouldn't have told me that. You shouldn't have told me that at all.
Suppose you tell me some things.
I'm mixed up, Mr. Regan. I can't tell.
Gwendolyn.
That's my aunt.
Did I hear the front door bell?
Don't say anything. Don't tell her.
I did hear the front door. Well, Gwendolyn, who is this man?
Regan.
Regan? Oh, you're the man they call the Lion's Eye. I've been expecting you. I'm gardening.
I should have figured.
What? Oh, I have a green thumb, as they say. Follow me. Go to your room, Gwendolyn.
Yes, Auntie.
Gwendolyn?
Yes, Auntie, I'm going.
She went all right, like a rabbit at a greyhound race. Only I wasn't sure this rabbit could stay ahead of the dogs. But right then I had another problem, keeping up with Mrs. Margate. It wasn't the way she walked. It was her talk that winded me.
Go to the garden. My niece and my nephew problems that weigh heavily on my heart, Mr. Regan. Oh, this way. Family collapsing and falling to ruin. Just 3 Margates left. Myself and the 2 children, Gwendolyn and Hillary. Only 52 years old with such responsibilities.
Hillary?
No, myself, of course. 52. But Hillary's the real problem. You follow me?
Right behind you.
What? Oh, yes, out this door. The garden. There. You see that pool by the date palm?
Uh-huh.
Fish. Carp, Mr. Regan. He concocts things. Hillary brews things. Poisons. One day he fed something he had brewed to Hilary F. Margate, Sr., the carp, and he turned bright green.
Hillary?
The carp. We found him next morning floating belly up, stark bright green. Hilary F. Margate, Sr., the carp. We name our fish after the dear departed members of our family.
Nice custom.
Yes. Hilary poisoned the carp when he was only 146 years old.
The carp?
Yes. Come along. Hilary was only a boy at the time. Such a problem, Mr. Regan. Oh, here, my vegetable garden. Have an onion, Mr. Regan. Delicious.
Yeah. Look, Mrs. Margate.
Eat the onion, Mr. Regan. George is my gardener.
I'm over here, Mrs. Margaret.
Oh, well, you can go out back and cut the weeds, George. Mr. Regan and I have some private matters to discuss.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent man, George. Excellent. And be sure you get them all, George. We must be rid of the weeds.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Now we're alone, Mr. Regan. The onion, go on, eat it. As I was saying, Hillary, that boy, such a problem.
Yeah, as you were saying.
Yes. Good, aren't they?
Mrs. Margate, what is it you want me to do?
Do? I want you to look after Hillary.
I was told you wanted protection.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
No. Hillary needs a nursemaid. That's not our line.
No, see here, Mr. Regan. International Detective Bureau has already agreed to handle my case. Mr. Lyon himself accepted my check.
He'll accept anyone's check.
But he promised to help.
Well, then talk to him.
I'm talking to you. I'm explaining.
You're explaining nothing. You've given me a lot of double talk, and I have a feeling that's all you want to give me. Now, make sense.
All right. You're going to force me to say what I hoped never to say to anyone. Not anyone. My life is in danger.
I can believe that.
My tea. Yesterday, I noticed the odor of almonds.
I'm listening.
No, I didn't drink it naturally.
Naturally.
Hillary brewed that tea, Mr. Regan. My nephew.
Now you've said something. Where is he?
Ocean Park, the shooting gallery.
Shooting gallery?
Yes, he's strange, very strange. He brews things, collects guns, practices shooting. You won't like him.
Suppose I go talk to him.
Well, you'd better. As I've said, Mr. Regan, I don't wish to be murdered.
I headed the car down La Brea to Olympic and then out to the Ocean Park Pier. It was afternoon business, popcorn and sailor style. The shooting gallery had one customer, a kid in a corduroy sport coat with a face like a cantaloupe out of season. He was taking shots at the little swinging targets. You didn't need the family album to figure him for Hillary Margate. I walked over, but he didn't take the gun from his shoulder.
Leeks.
Come again?
Leeks. Scallions.
My name's Regan.
Allia masculanica, Mr. Regan. Onions. You've been eating them.
So?
This suggests you're the private detective hired by my aunt. Bullseye?
You read palms, too?
I fancy myself an amateur detective, Mr. Regan. I seldom miss.
I notice.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Regan, I'm interested in hiring you myself.
Oh, that's a switch.
I think there's going to be a murder.
Anybody I know?
Yes, my aunt.
Who plays the heavy?
The heavy?
Who's going to kill her?
I am.
Practicing?
I don't need practice, Mr. Regan.
Even experts get the chair.
Possibly.
All right, Junior, let's start making sense.
Very well, Mr. Regan. My aunt is a domineering autocrat. Actually, I should hate to kill her, but I feel I must. To protect myself, you understand.
From what?
You know, I dabble in poisons, Mr. Regan. I am empoisonné, as the French say, poisoner. When I was 15...
I heard that one, yeah. Hillary F. Margate Sr., the carp.
Oh, he died a horrible death.
My regrets. Now get to the point.
Ours is an evil household, Mr. Regan. The last of the Margates, a decaying race. My aunt, for example, in Roseland.
I met her.
Then you understand that something must be done. This is an urgent matter, Mr. Regan. It would be wise to take my case.
One Margate for a client's too many.
Very well, Mr. Regan. But you want information. Perhaps I'll give it to you tomorrow. I'll phone you. As they say on the radio, you may save a life. Possibly your own.
It made a real funny joke the way he said it. Only I wasn't laughing. And neither was he. I got in my car and started for town to tell the lion he'd been underpaid. All the way in, I kept getting a picture of a mechanical rabbit going around a track. I tried putting Grethelin's face on it, and Mrs. Margate's, then Hillary's. The others didn't fit. Grethelin's did. I was still thinking about it when I parked on Hill Street and got out to walk. And that's when I put another face on the rabbit, my own. The guy who fell in behind me and started following was no greyhound, but he had squeaky shoes that slowed down when I slowed down. We stayed together for a block, and when I turned left toward the office, he turned left. I wondered if he was an amateur. I found out when I sidestepped into an alley and pulled him in after me. All right, Buster, this is where you get off.
Hey, say, what the devil?
Come on, who hired you?
Let me go.
Give me some answers.
Talk. You want muscles, huh? Muscles? All right. I got him.
He had him all right, and he knew where to use him. He had a bald head, and he used that, too, right in the middle of my stomach. I shouldn't have bent double, but I did. It was a setup. The next blow sent me around the fender of a truck parked in the alley. I went to my knees. When I came up, it was too late. The bald head was gone. But someone else was there.
Mr. Regan.
It was Gwethelyn Margate.
Mr. Regan, you should be careful. You all right?
He was following me.
No, Mr. Regan, no, he wasn't. I was going to your office. He was following me.
She was ready to talk, but the fog in my head wouldn't let me listen. I got her around the corner into a bar. She waited until the waiter brought the drinks.
2 bourbon straight, Mr. Regan. And if I may say so, this is a lovely tomato you're escorting to my humble palate.
You said so.
And may I say, Mr. Regan, I'm also partial to redheads. On account of my first love was a redhead. She played second flute in our orchestra.
Sure. Keep the change.
That was when I was with Stokowski. Ah, the Hollywood Bowl, how well I remember. Me and my fiddle. We made together beautiful music. Me and the fiddle, you understand, not the redhead. She gave me nothing but the cold shoulder on account she was hot for a guy that played bass.
Come on, you told me this story yesterday.
You don't wish to hear the story of my life, Mr. Regan? Well, it was the same way with Mr. Stokowski. The artist is lost in the world of today.
All right. Now we can talk.
I don't know, Mr. Regan.
Who was following you?
It doesn't matter. I'm used to it, Mr. Regan.
Who was the mug?
It doesn't matter, Mr. Regan. It's too late anymore. I thought...
You thought what?
I thought you'd help me, Mr. Regan. I was on my way to your office.
Why?
There's going to be trouble, Mr. Regan. Serious trouble.
What says so?
Everything. Hillary, my aunt, they're all acting so strangely. And those people who come to the house.
People? Who?
I don't know. But the man who was following me is one of them. Oh, something strange is going on, Mr. Regan. Something terrible.
You still haven't told me anything.
Don't you see? It isn't anything I can tell you. It's a feeling. A terrible feeling. Everything's wrong.
I've got to have facts, lady.
I don't... Wait. There's one thing.
Yeah?
The gardener, Mr. Hendricks.
George?
Yes. My aunt knows him, Mr. Regan. Better than just a gardener. Something else.
What?
George has been in prison. I know he's been in prison. I heard him say something once on the telephone.
To who?
I don't know. So much I don't know.
That makes two of us.
You don't believe me. You've got to believe me. Something terrible's going to happen.
Sure. Hillary's going to kill your aunt.
Hillary? Oh, no. That's not it at all. It's me they're going to kill, don't you see? They're going to kill me.
After that, I couldn't get anything out of her that made sense. I loaded her in a cab and then walked over to Pershing Square to feed the pigeons. Maybe something would come to me. Nothing did, except the pigeons. After a while, I went over to the Examiner morgue to look up George Hendricks. There was nothing, not a word. But the Lion has ways of finding those things out, so I went back to the office. The Lion had information, all right, but not the kind I expected.
Regan, where have you been? I've been calling every saloon in the city.
You got the wrong one.
I often wonder why I hired you.
Okay, Fatso, why the steam?
I'll tell you why. Because you were supposed to be on the Margate case, that's why.
What do you think I've been doing?
I know what you're going to be doing. You're going to get out to Margate Mansion right now and fast. They just found Hillary Margate in his room. He's been shot through the head.
This is CBS, and you're listening to The Story of the Little Man's Lament. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Here's a special word for those of you who are interested in setting up a retirement fund. One that will permit you to have some of the good things of life before you're too old to enjoy them. Join the payroll savings plan where you work and invest in United States savings bonds. Under this plan, your firm sets aside whatever sum you name from each paycheck and uses the money to buy savings bonds for you. Buy United States bonds and keep them. And now, back to tonight's story of the Little Man's Lament and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Nothing made sense. There were three Margates, the old lady, her nephew Hillary, and his sister, Gwethelyn. And all three of them wanted to hire me to stop a murder. Then the Lion tells me Hillary Margate has just been shot. Well, one thing was sure. With three people to work for, one of them was bound to turn up dead. I put the Lion to work looking up the gardener, George Hendricks. Then I hopped in the car and headed out to the Margate place off Franklin Avenue. By the time I got there, it was turning dark. Out front, a black and white Nash said, "Police," in big letters. But when the old lady opened the door, she acted as though she'd never heard of police.
Oh, Mr. Regan, please come in. I'm sorry you didn't get to meet him. Hillary, strange boy.
I met him.
You did? Oh, this way, Mr. Regan. Well, it's no matter. It was inevitable. Hillary's uncle, my husband, before he died, warned me something like this would happen. He was a young fool, Hillary.
How did it happen?
Happen? Oh, with a gun, of course. How else could one shoot oneself except with a gun? In here, Mr. Regan, we won't be bothered by them. Sometimes police can be so nosy. Do sit down. We shall have tea.
With or without almonds?
I know what you're thinking, Mr. Regan, but I'm sure it had nothing to do with it.
What did?
Just a moment, Mr. Regan. There's someone at our door. Well, Gwethelyn?
I was just coming to see you, Andy. I thought you'd want me to tell Mr. Regan about Hillary.
Yes, a good idea. Mr. Regan, I'll let Gwethelyn tell you. She was here at the time. Oh, she was a lovely woman. Gwethelyn's mother, my late sister. Well, go ahead, child. Go ahead.
I got home about 5.
Better sit down, child. No, not there. Here.
Yes, Auntie. Well, Mr. Regan, Hillary was in the gun room reading. I went in to talk to him, but he ordered me out of the room. He said he didn't want to be disturbed. He was concentrating.
Go on.
I left the room. A couple of minutes later, I heard a shot. When I went back, he was there. Hillary. On the floor, dead.
Then you called the police.
I told Auntie. She called them.
They've been so nice, the police. They promised not to disturb me any more than necessary. Wasn't that nice?
They're in his room now?
With Hillary. Dear Hillary.
Yeah, he won't need me anymore. I think I'd better be going.
Oh, yes, of course. Gwethelyn, see Mr. Regan to the door like a good girl.
Yes, honey.
And come again sometime soon, Mr. Regan. We shall have tea together.
Thanks.
This way, Mr. Regan. Mr. Regan, I've got to talk to you this way quickly.
What's on your mind?
About Hillary. Something he did tonight.
Like what?
When he came home, before that, he had a book. A big book. He was reading it when it happened. Why would he read a book and then shoot himself?
You got me. What was the title?
I don't know. But when the police came, the book was gone.
Where did he buy it?
I don't know that either. But I'm sure it's important, Mr. Regan. I'm sure of it. You don't think it's important?
I don't know. I reach for answers. Sometimes they come up air.
I know something else, Mr. Regan. It's about George. George Hendricks, our gardener.
Yeah?
He disappeared this afternoon after it.
Go on.
Andy sent for him when the police arrived, but he wasn't in his room. The police were angry. They think he might have done it.
And you think so, too?
I'm not sure, Mr. Regan. I'm not sure of anything now.
She turned and ran into the house and left me with a lot of night air and cool breeze. If Hendricks had taken a powder, the police would check that angle. That left me with a book. A very big book. I walked down Franklin toward my car. Up ahead, I saw a small man in a black suit locking up a shop door. Over his head, a sign said Franklin Avenue Bookshop. That did it. I caught him before he closed up.
I beg your pardon.
You know Hillary Margate lives up the street?
Yes, I know him. Why?
Was he in today?
He's a regular customer.
Was he in? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did he buy a book?
No.
You sure?
Positive. He asked for a volume we didn't have.
What volume?
I don't remember the title because we didn't have it in stock. It was a textbook.
Textbook?
Yes, on horticulture. Plants.
Plants?
Does that mean something to you?
Yeah. It could explain why the Margate family has gone to seed. It was crazy, but it was beginning to untangle. I headed for my car up the street. Before I touched the starter, I found out I had company.
All right, Regan, drive.
The gun in my back told me he meant it. One look in the mirror told me he was George Hendricks. Well, you're calling him. Where to?
Your apartment. I want to talk.
Have a chair, Regan. It's your house.
Thanks.
I talk. You sit and listen.
I can stand.
I say sit down.
It's your party, Hendricks.
There's been an accident at the Margate house.
I heard.
Hillary shot himself.
That right?
You think different?
Changed my mind.
I didn't kill him, Regan.
Who said you did?
I never could get used to confinement.
Oh. San Quentin?
Sandstone, Minnesota.
Tell me more.
Listen, Regan, the police don't like guys with a record.
What was your rap, Hendricks?
Checks, something like that. Forgery.
So why tell me?
You're moving in my direction, Regan. I don't like it.
Is that why you ran?
There's something else.
Yeah?
The name. It isn't Hendricks. It's Margate.
What's that?
Freehold Quincy Margate.
No wonder you changed it.
There were several reasons.
Yeah, Old South family.
Listen, Regan, you gotta believe me. I didn't kill Hillary. I didn't have anything to do with it.
You know a big guy, bald head with a stupid face?
Morley. He works at the Margate place part-time.
What's his job?
Flunky. He works in the garden with me.
When he isn't tailing the girl.
Leave me out of that part of it.
Well, do I answer that?
Yes, but watch what you say.
Regan.
Regan, I expected to hear from you sooner. What's happened to you? Regan, are you there?
Yeah, just got here.
What's the matter? Someone with you?
You're a genius.
Well, I just found out about Hendricks.
You guessed it.
You mean he's there?
Go on.
Listen, that's not his real name, Regan. He's a Margate. Freehold Quincy Margate. Age 46, height 5'11", weight 180.
Get to the point.
Well, about that prison record, quite correct. It was 8 years ago. Charge?
Narcotics violation.
Oh, yes, but be careful. He'll hear you.
No, he won't. He just went out the door, fast. I had what I needed. I averaged 50 down Franklin and pulled up in front of the Margate place 10 minutes later. It was dark and it looked empty, like a beer can after a picnic. I found an open window and crawled in. It was the gun room, and that meant I didn't have to go much farther. But somebody changed my mind for me when the door suddenly opened, and a hunk of orange lightning stabbed in my direction. I ducked and the chair next to me toppled over. I couldn't wait for the next one.
Let me go!
Drop it!
You're hurting my...
That's better. Now some lights.
Mr. Regan, I thought you were one of them.
I'm not. That book Hillary was reading. I'm in a hurry, baby.
You already know, don't you, Mr. Regan? All right. I didn't see it closely. It had pictures of plants.
Like the ones in your backyard?
Yes. I didn't know what it meant until...
Until Hillary got it, and then you were too scared to talk. Why?
Mr. Regan, Hillary didn't poison my aunt's tea. They only said he did so they could kill me and then blame him for it. That way they'd be rid of both of us.
Yeah, but Hillary caught on too quick.
That's why they killed him, Mr. Regan. Oh, don't let them know I know.
It won't matter now, baby. I circled around the house in a hurry. Empty. Then I tried the garden. That's when I saw it. 50 yards behind the house. A strange light at first, then something red that began to grow. Then smoke and more smoke. I ran to the back of the garden in the flames. She saw me coming.
Stand back, Mr. Regan.
Maybe tomorrow, Mrs. Margate.
I warn you, Regan. Stand back.
You heard me, remember?
Take one more step, Mr. Regan, and Morley will kill you.
You figured he'd be around? Put that gun down, Morley. The smoke's getting in your eyes.
No! Shoot him, Morley! Shoot him!
You're too late for that. I drove across the column of smoke and caught his arm as he tried to find me with that gun. I got to him first. I owed him something for what he'd given me in that alley, and I paid him back with interest. The old lady just stood there and glared at me, the fire reflecting in her eyes. It took me 10 minutes and my best sport coat to stop the blaze. But the price was cheap, because where the fire had been was a nice pile of Exhibit A. It looks just like an ordinary plant, but the police call it marijuana. Somebody spotted the smoke and called the fire department. The police were right behind them and loaded the last of the Margates into the wagon. And it was like Greth said. She was scheduled to turn up poison, and I was supposed to testify that Hillary had done it. Only Hillary caught on too fast, and they gave him a bullet for his trouble. And after I finished up at headquarters, I went to the office and filled the lion in. He was disappointed.
And this fella the police picked up at the depot, this Hendricks, he wasn't the culprit we were looking for?
He was under the old lady's thumb like the rest of the family. She blackmailed him into growing this stuff. With his record, he couldn't afford to squawk.
He couldn't afford to squawk. How do you think I feel?
You got a check for $100, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did.
She did pay you, didn't she?
Well, you see, Jeffrey, that is, she gave me a check when I first went out there for $100.
You said that.
Well, I didn't think anything of it at the time, but, well, you see, her brother-in-law...
You mean...
Well, that is, Hendricks did have a prison record for narcotics violation, but, Well, it seems upon examining the records more closely, there was an earlier sentence for,
Bad checks.
Yes. It seems to run in the family.
I don't get paid this week.
Go on. Quit me. Kick a man when he's down.
Oh, stop it.
You know I never withhold payment when I have it. Right now I don't have it. Maybe next week.
If you wait 2 weeks, it'll be Thanksgiving.
What's that mean?
You can have the end of the turkey I've been getting.
Jeffrey, you're not being kind. Remember my heart.
I'll try.
Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. Now, here's 25 cents.
For what?
Go over and pick up your laundry. I forgot to wait for it.
Jeff Regan, Investigator, is written by William Frug and William Fifield, directed by Sterling Tracy, and stars Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. Original music is by Dick Arant. Jeff Regan, Investigator, is heard each week at the same time over CBS. Bob Stevenson speaking, and inviting you to be with us again next Wednesday at 9 for more suspense and mystery and adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Narcotics Bureau. A vicious criminal has resumed operations in your city. His profession, dealer in narcotics. You know his name. You know he's guilty. Your job, prove it.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima. Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. And that's why Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima has more than doubled its smokers, coast to coast. So, if you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, January 21st. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of Narcotics Bureau. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way back into work, and it was 3:49 p.m. when I got to the main lobby of the City Hall. Public phone booth. Hello, Ma. This is Joe.
Joseph, you said you were going to be home at 4 o'clock.
Oh, I couldn't help it, Ma. They changed the schedule. I got my stuff all right. Thanks for packing it.
I put your socks and your clean T-shirts on the bed. Did you put them in your bag?
Yeah, I got them.
Got them off the clothesline right after you called. They weren't quite dry, or I would have packed them for you.
I got them all right. Listen, Ma, I'll call you whenever I get the chance. Now, don't worry.
How long are you going to be gone?
I haven't any idea. Maybe a month. All depends.
How can I get in touch with you?
You can't. Call Ben. He'll get the message to me somehow.
is it you're going, Joseph?
Well, I'm not going anyplace, Ma. I'll be right here in the city, but I just won't be able to come home for a little while. It's a special job.
No, like the last time.
Yeah.
Well, you be careful now. Watch what you order when you're eating out in those awful restaurants.
Yes.
Then get your rest.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
need plenty of rest.
Yeah, okay, Ma. I'll be all right.
I was shopping today. I bought a nice loin roast for dinner tomorrow night. Now, you won't be here.
Why don't you invite the neighbors over? The Newtons? That'd be good company for you.
Well, maybe I'll ask your Aunt Elizabeth over.
Yeah. Now, don't worry. If you want to get in touch with me, you deliver the message to Ben, okay?
Yes. All right. What kind of work you be doing? It's going to be dangerous?
Oh, it's just another job, Ma. It'll work out. I'll call you when I can.
All right, Joseph. Be careful now. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too. Goodbye, Ma.
Joseph. Bye.
I left the phone booth and started down the corridor. I went up a short flight of stairs and turned left. The afternoon crowd in the city hall seemed heavier than usual. I walked past the elevators and turned right down another corridor. It was 3:58 p.m. I got to room 24, Narcotics Bureau. Captain White?
Hi, Joe.
You want to take these?
Yeah, sure.
It's my badge.
Okay.
There's all my identification and my gun.
Right. I'll take care of them for you.
These clothes look all right?
Just a minute. Now, let's see. Yeah. I don't like that tie. Romero.
Yes, Gibber?
Let's see your tie. Yeah, swap with Friday, will you, Ben?
Christmas tie's pretty loud.
Mine's not.
That's the idea. Here's some stuff to carry in your pocket. Social security card, ID card, all made out to Joe Kyber.
Mm-hmm.
Some book matches from St. Louis, a couple from Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
You pick up another gun?
I loaned him my .25 automatic.
It's small. It's easy to carry.
Suit yourself. I don't have to tell you to be careful.
No.
It's a chance we've been waiting for, Joe. A lot depends on you.
I'll do what I can.
Just one thing I want to tell you. Take your time. Take all the time you need. Don't push it.
I understand. No time limit.
Your time's up when they find out who you are.
Captain Lynn White and I left the Narcotics Bureau together with Ben and Johnny Bingham. We went down the hall to the office of Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. As in most major narcotic cases, the plan involved the coordinated work of all three offices, the federal, state, and our own local bureau. The operation involved a great many men and a lot of time. When we got to the Chief of Detectives' office, two men were with him. Bill Craig, the agent in charge of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics for the Southern California area, and Inspector Virgil Beckner, head of the State Narcotics Bureau for our district. All of us had one common goal, the apprehension and conviction of two men, Arthur Belmont and Ralph Costello. The first man on the list, Ralph Costello. Chief Brown outlined the overall plan.
Craig, your federal men have been tracking Costello off and on for 3 years now. Beck's over your state agents. Same for our men.
This time we can't afford to miss.
You figure an undercover man working locally? Is that right, Chief?
Yeah, Craig, he'll start right from the bottom, work up the line till he gets to Costello, if he gets there. Beck?
Where are you going to start?
Captain White, would you lay it out for Beck and Craig?
Yeah. Friday here's going to handle the job. He's got his full instructions. Joe, you want to fill him in?
All right. I'll make my first contact tonight. I'll meet in a bar down in South Pico with another one of our undercover men, Benny Arredondo. He'll introduce me as Joe Kyber to one of his informants. The informant is supposed to help get me into the Flats gang.
The same bunch running on the south end of town?
Yeah, small-time peddlers, precurious, a little bit of everything. Go on, Friday.
When I get in the gang, I run with them until I find out where and how they make their buys.
After you get a contact, you make buys all the way up the line and get as close as you can to the town.
Yeah, that's right.
You worked out your contact with us?
He knows that under no conditions will he be seen around the department here.
It's been set up that I have a hotel room lined up down on the east side. Romero here and Captain White will be my only contact with the office. I'll be using the name Joe Kyber. Sounds all right to me. How about you, Craig?
How about that informant Friday? Can you count on him?
Arredondo thinks a lot of him. He says he's a good man.
He's the first rung on the ladder. He's got to be solid.
Well, if he's not, we won't have far to fall.
Depends on how you look at it. You can kill yourself in the bathtub.
8 p.m., Thursday, January 21st. I checked in at the Casino Hotel on Terminal Street. I registered as Joe Kyber, Omaha, Nebraska. I was given the key for room 5. The rent was $7 a week. I unpacked a few things I had in my bag, went down the hall, and took a shower. I went down to the lunchroom on the corner. I had an egg sandwich and a cup of coffee. It was 11:18 p.m. when I walked into Blue Wright's Bar and Grill. I ordered a beer and sat down. I watched the missing persons program on the television set above the bar. Lose somebody, Kyber?
Hello, Benny.
Been here long?
I just got here. Where's your boy?
Sitting over there with that fella in the blue suit. Name's Gene.
Who is the guy in the blue suit?
More of the Flats gang. Gene's lining up your introduction now. Guy's name is Ludwig. They call him Lud. He knows me as Steve.
Right. What do we do?
Sit tight till Gene gives us the word. The tie of yours looks like it's on fire.
Look all right?
I wouldn't wear it. Lud would. Get in the hotel okay?
Yeah, all set. Room 5.
Gene wants us. Let's go.
Okay.
Hi, Steve. So your boy got here?
Yeah. Gene, meet Joe Kyber.
Hi.
This is Lud. Joe Kyber, Lud.
Sit down. You like the fights, Kyber?
Yeah. They got nothing out here in that line. I used to go to the Garden when I was east.
I got some fine cards at the Legion.
Where?
Hollywood Legion, Friday night. Some classy-looking fighters out there.
Where's that?
Out in Hollywood. Nice little stadium.
I'd like to go with you sometime.
Tomorrow?
I got a date. Maybe next week.
Bring her along. A lot of women go.
Not this one.
Okay.
Hey, you guys hungry?
I could eat. Yeah.
Joe?
Sure. How about here?
Nobody eats here.
Steam table over there. The stuff smells pretty good.
So does garbage if the wind's blowing the other way. Let's get a first step sandwich, huh?
How about Galbraith's over on Sotelo?
Okay. How about you guys?
Sure.
Well, let's go. All right. You from the east, Kyber?
Omaha, Memphis, all around.
Yeah. You don't talk very much.
You do.
You talk tough. Are you tough?
Sometimes.
This place we're going to go eat, sometimes the meat's tough, too.
Yeah?
Just like a piece of tough meat, you can always cut it down to size.
The following week at the fights, I met some of the other members of the Flats gang. They were a typical group of hoodlums. Unlike fiction writers have portrayed them, generally gangs of this type do not operate under a gang leader. Each member considers himself the best of the lot. For all practical purposes, they didn't need a leader. But as in any group, some men are more dominant than others. Lud was one of these. Because of his tough manner, I observed that the gang members placed confidence in Lud. It was then that I decided that I had to be tougher than he was if the gang was going to accept me. 5 weeks went by. March 7th. There was still no mention by any of them that they were either using or dealing in narcotics.
Come on in, Kyber. Sit down.
Lud?
Kyber, meet Jerry Phil.
Bye. I picked up the tickets for the basketball game tonight.
Good seats?
Yeah, they look okay.
Got an extra, Ducky? Maybe I'd tag along.
Yeah, we got 4.
You look kind of sad, Kyber.
He always looks that way. First he was tough, now he's sad.
Oh, you and that mouth. You know it all, don't you?
No offense, you look a little low.
I don't know about you, Kyber, but I'm a little under par. I'm going to have myself a pop. You interested?
No, I don't use it.
Why don't you try it? You might get a kick out of it.
I have. It's all right going up, but it's nothing coming down.
That's where you make a mistake. Stay up. Don't come down. Fella.
You heard what he said, Jerry. You don't like it.
How does he know? He never stayed up long enough.
Take your pop and shut up.
You talk about Kyber trying to be tough. You think you're the big wheel around here.
That's enough.
Gotta quit giving orders, Lud. You know better than the rest.
Look, little man, knock off that kind of talk and keep us both happy.
Sure. The boss, man.
You know, I got one positive way to shut you up.
Why don't you two quit?
This concerns me and Phil. You keep your mouth shut.
Well, don't get mad at me. I only wanted to save an argument.
Canada, I said.
Now, look, big mouth, you can push Phil around, but not me.
Now you're playing the tough guy again, ain't you?
Why don't you go over there and sit down, huh?
You set me down, punk.
All right, now listen to me, both of you. I'm tired of being talked down to like a junior member of the firm. You either treat me equal or leave me alone. You understand?
You had it coming, Lud.
Yeah.
I put that bottle down, Lud.
Where'd you get the gun? You carry that thing right along?
Right along. Put it down, Lud.
Okay. I'm long on memory, Kyber. Remember that.
Yeah, and I'm real short on patience with you.
Well, I still ain't had my pop. Better hurry. I don't want to miss the game. You got good seats, huh, Kyber? They're not too low. I can't see nothing if they're too low.
Don't worry. You'll be high enough. 2 months went by. By playing the tough guy, I gained a great deal of prestige in the eyes of the other gang members. Jerry Fell made sure that all the members heard about that episode up in Lud's room. Dealers and users of narcotics rarely carry guns. The members of the Flats gang were small-time peddlers and users. They're referred to as mules or small fry. When they found that I carried a gun at all times, they were impressed. They considered me one of them. Since the very beginning of my undercover work, I met weekly with Ben Romero and Captain Lynn White of the Narcotics Bureau.
I would be picked up at a different location each time, making sure that I wasn't followed, and we would remain in the car and drive around in a remote section of the city discussing my progress with the gang. During this first 3-month period, under the pretext that I had clients to furnish, I made 2 small narcotics buys, one for $13 and one for $8. As soon as the purchases were made, I would mark them for identification, contact Ben, and then turn the narcotics over to him to be booked as evidence by the property clerk at Central Division. Another month went by. Thursday, June 5th, 11 p.m. We had just returned from the midget auto races, and we were sitting around in Lud's room.
You mentioned something out at the races, Kibble. Now what's on your mind?
I told you, Lud, I need a half a dozen caps right away. I got people putting the bite on me. Old customers.
How old can they be? You only been out here 5 months, remember?
When they're hooked, they get to be old customers in a month.
I fixed up 2 buys with Morse for you. Tony says he can't handle anymore. Hasn't got enough around. You got on board late, you know. All of us are ahead of you.
Tony can get more. Who's his source?
Couple of guys. I know him.
How about an office to one of them?
You deal with Tony.
You said he hasn't got enough.
That's right, I did.
Okay. How much do you want?
They're your customers. What's it worth?
They'll pay. What's the guy's name?
Costello's one of them. He'll have enough for you.
Who's the other guy?
He'll deal with Costello for now.
Where can I meet him?
Morse will set it up for you. I got a meeting in an hour. Come in.
Police officers. Shake it down the hall.
What's the trouble?
Checking for a robbery suspect. Find anything, George?
Room's clean.
We don't know anything about a heist.
You'll have to come downtown and answer a few questions. What's the matter with you, fella? You look like we spoiled your party.
Yeah, you spoiled it.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. Now, here's an authentic report from Fatima Cigarettes.
In 1949, Fatima more than doubled its smokers from coast to coast.
In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself.
You'll find Fatima extra mild.
Because Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild.
You'll find Fatima tastes much better.
Fatima's superb blend gives you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
You'll find Fatima best in cigarette quality.
Fatima has always stood for the best in cigarette quality. For a new year of greater smoking enjoyment, buy Fatima in the appealing gold and yellow package. You'll agree, Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
The chance of my being picked up while working on an undercover assignment was one which all of us had considered. Since only a handful of men out of some 5,000 working police officers in the department knew anything about our narcotics investigation, we knew that such an occurrence was not impossible. It's one of the chances we had to take. In this instance, we lost, and the critical meeting with one of the men we were after was forestalled. How long our detention at police headquarters would delay my meeting with Ralph Costello was anybody's guess. Could mean weeks or maybe months. I was booked on suspicion of 211 PC robbery. So was Lud. The next afternoon, I was taken from cell block 10D2 to the interrogation room.
Come on in and sit down, Kibble. How are you, Friday?
It was a tight squeeze.
The booking number's been canceled, Joe. Print's been stopped.
Those 2 men from robbery who pulled me in, Wynn and Donahoe, I thought I was in trouble for a minute.
They had no idea you were in that room. Once they got up there, they had to follow through.
Well, they played it right. They remembered their etiquette.
If either one of them had said hello before you did, you might have been in big trouble.
Well, I'm in big trouble anyway. I had a meet all set with Costello. Almost set, anyway.
Just a case of bad timing in that pickup, huh?
Well, if they'd have got there 2 hours later, it might have been different.
Well, how do you stand now? How close are you to Costello?
I need some more money. I got to pay off Lud.
And he'll take you to Costello if you pay the right price?
Yeah. Lud's working through Morse. You know about him.
Remember, Friday, if there's any questions when you get back to that gang, you were booked for CCW. You're out on bail.
Yeah.
I got you another gun, Joe. 32 automatic, okay?
Yeah, thanks. I couldn't go back with the same one. What about the federal and state men? How are they doing?
Pretty good. Federal men picked up Costello in Fresno. He was connected with the sale of 6 cans of H.
Mm-hmm. That much heroin up there. No wonder Lud can afford to hold me up. He knows there's a shortage down here.
Case isn't too strong against him. When it looked definite that we had him, they were going to call you off. He's out on bail.
Costello's back down here now.
Yeah. Seems like we get our hands on the guy, but we can't hold him.
Narcotics in their possession or under their control. That's what the book says. That's the way we got to get them.
We'll get him that way.
It's up to you now, Friday. Stay with it and keep your chin covered.
Well, if you need anything, Joe, call. Your mother's been over at the house for dinner a few times. She's okay.
Thanks. Tell her I'm all right, will you?
Sure. She worries a lot about you, Joe. Anything happened to you, just about kill her.
That makes two of us. I'll see you. Before I left the city hall, Captain White drew out some more money from the Secret Service Fund. This fund is for the sole purpose of undercover work. This latest amount was for the narcotics buy that I hoped to make with Ralph Costello. An hour before I left, Ludd was released on a writ that he had arranged for. Saturday, June 7th, 9 a.m. I checked back into my room at the Casino Hotel. During the 3 weeks that followed, I kept asking Ludd to arrange a meeting for me with Tony Morse, the next man on the ladder, on the way up to Costello. Ludd kept stalling me. Another week went by. Captain Lynn White, Ben, and I held our regular weekly meetings. On July 6th, Ludd told me that a meeting with Morse had finally been arranged for 8 p.m. that night. I called Ben and told him I'd meet him and the captain immediately after I talked with Morse. At 8 p.m., following the instructions Ludd had given me, I was in the downstairs waiting room at the subway terminal at 5th and Hill. I was told to wait for the apple vending machine.
Excuse me, mister.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Kyber?
Yeah. You, Morse?
That's right. Want an apple?
No, thanks.
Well, sit down.
All right.
Now, what'd you have in mind?
I got a couple of $100 to spend. Can you handle it?
Who sent you?
You know who sent me.
Sure I do. I just want to hear you say it.
Ludd.
We can handle it. What'd you have in mind?
I said $200 worth. That's 40 caps.
We got it.
None of that Mexican junk. I want European stuff.
You bought before. You'll take what we got.
That last buy I made through Ludd, the junk was cut to nothing. I can only use so much milk or sugar, you know.
By the time it got to you, it was probably cut pretty thin. So was the price you paid for it.
I'm not looking for bargains. I push to good people. I want good stuff.
You'll do better this time. You're not dealing with Ludd. Sure, we cut it. No more than anybody else. Not as much as Ludd.
When can I get it?
You got some sick people?
Couple.
Have it for you in an hour.
Where's the meat?
Got a watch?
Yeah.
What time you got?
12 minutes after 8.
Add a minute. Make it 13 after.
Okay.
An hour from now. 9:13. Meet Ludd at Macy and Brooklyn on the corner. He'll tell you what to do.
Will Ludd have it?
Meet Ludd at 9:13. See you later, Kyber.
Oh, wait a minute. How do I know you're leveling?
How do we know you are?
I went out the front of the subway terminal building. I took a cab down to 7th and Main. I got off and walked into Pop Sherman's bar. I called the office and set up a meeting with Ben and the captain. I ordered a beer, paid for it, left my change in the bar, asked the bartender to watch it, told him I'd be right back. I went out the back way, crossed the alley, and got down to Los Angeles Street. I walked up to 9th and picked up a cab to take me to Fulton and Covina Avenue. I got out and walked 2 blocks. It was 8:41.
Joe?
Hi.
You meet Morse?
Yeah.
Sure nobody tailed you?
I took all the precautions.
What's the setup?
I'm not sure, and I don't have much time. I'm going to make the buy tonight.
When?
9:13.
You don't have much time. Kind of rushing it, aren't they?
I figured I'd better play along.
Who's the meet with?
Morse told me to meet Ludd at Macy and Brooklyn. Said that he'd carry it from there.
Costello in on it?
I don't know. You got it all.
All right. We'll start picking up the Flats gang. Everyone but Ludd.
What do you think?
Well, the way I got it figured, Morse is Costello's runner. He checked me out, and as far as I could tell, he thinks I'm okay.
Yeah.
I got a hunch Ludd's going to take me to either Morse again or Costello or possibly both. I don't know where the actual meet's going to be.
That means a tail job.
We'll have to pick you up at Macy and Brooklyn and stick with you until after Ludd leaves, if he does, and follow through with you.
Figure it wide, Skipper.
Don't worry, I know we're close. What time you got, Romero?
10 minutes to 9.
Turn down the next block.
Right.
Pull up here, Ben. Here you go, Friday. Keep your chin covered.
Yep.
Hey.
Hello, Phil.
Friends of yours in the car?
Why?
I know them. They ain't friends of mine.
I didn't say I knew him.
I don't know the guy driving, but the other guy, I've seen him lots. Just about 4 weeks ago, we all seen him. Huh? That fuzz, white, narcotics man.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've been riding me since they picked me up with a gun.
Won't do, cop. Narcotics man ain't got nothing on you. That was robbery, remember?
They got a make on me from Nebraska. They've been on me ever since I got here.
That figures. You're one of them.
All right, look, Jerry. I'll argue with you later. I'm in a hurry. I got to meet Ludd.
I tag along. I want to see Ludd, too.
You going to spill to Ludd about what you think?
Maybe. I figure I owe it to him. I known him a lot longer than you. I know he ain't no cop.
You're sure that I am?
I know you are. Let's see what Lud thinks.
Yeah. All right, come on. On your feet. I looked at my watch. It was 2 minutes to 9. In 15 minutes, I had to meet Lud. I had to hit Jerry Fell. I couldn't take the chance of him getting to Lud before I did. I couldn't leave him. I couldn't take him with me. I pulled him to his feet and half dragged and half carried him 2 blocks before I spotted a patrolman. Hey, officer! Officer, over here!
Yeah, what's the trouble?
I'm Friday, Central Narcotics.
Yeah.
Take this man and get him downtown. Contact Chief Brown. He'll identify me. Serial number 2288. Friday, Narcotics. The suspect's name here is Jerry Fell. You got it?
Yeah, you got some kind of identification?
No, I haven't. Not a thing. It's a special duty.
I'm sorry, I don't know you. I have to hold you till I call in.
All right, but hurry, huh?
Call box right here. This is Carlson, box 117. Check on a matter with the Chief of Detectives Brown, will you? Yeah, that's right. Have a man here who identifies himself as Friday. What's your first name?
Joe Friday. Tell him to hurry.
Yeah. Joe Friday, Central Narcotics, serial number 2288. Says he's in a hurry, holding a suspect, Jerry Fell. I'll hold on.
Yeah, my watch says 5 after 9. What time you got?
I got 6 minutes after. It might be a little fast.
Any cab stands around here?
4 blocks up the street.
Which way?
That way. Yeah. Okay, I will. Thank you. Okay, Sergeant. Sorry to hold you up. Need any help?
No, you just hang on to this guy. Don't let him go. I started to run. Macy in Brooklyn. 6 blocks away, and I had 8 minutes to make it. A narcotics buy is one date you're not late for. Either you're there at the specified time or there's no deal. The veteran narcotics peddler knows that that's the only safe way for him to operate. A minute, one way or the other, could mean an arrest. I ran.
You're out of breath, Khyber. Anything wrong?
No, the cab broke down. I didn't want to be late.
Yeah, you got 40 seconds. That's cutting it pretty thin, but it'll do. Come on.
All right.
Right here.
By this lamppost?
That's it, right in front of it. Don't move to the left or right. Stay put. They'll handle the rest. So long.
Get in, Khyber. Got the money?
Right here.
200. Here's your package.
Okay.
That's it. Joe Khyber, meet Ralph Costello.
Hi.
Hello. Out this side, Khyber.
Okay. I'll see you.
Did you make the buy Friday?
Yeah, take him.
Right, Joe.
Ben, thought you were with the captain.
They don't need me. That intersection's blocked off up there. They're pulling them over right now. See?
Yeah. I got him.
Costello in the car?
Yeah.
And that's half of the team. Now what?
We go after the big man, Arthur Belmont.
Took us 7 months and 4 days to get to Costello. Lots of time.
Yeah. Always seems to work out that way, doesn't it?
What's that?
They always run out of time before we do.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 6th at 10:45 p.m., Ralph Costello was taken to the Narcotics Bureau, the interrogation room. In a moment, the results of that interrogation.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to Fatima. Here is the actual report.
From coast to coast, Fatima has more than doubled its smokers.
Yes, more and more smokers every day are discovering that Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
Smokers find Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
They find that Fatima is extra mild because it's the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make it extra mild.
Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all long cigarettes. with the promise of the United States District Attorney that his prison terms for the possession and sale of narcotics would run concurrently rather than consecutively, Ralph Costello agreed to furnish us vital information concerning the number one narcotics dealer on the Pacific Coast, Arthur Belmont.
Next week, the big man, Arthur Belmont.
You have just heard Dragnet, a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet from Los Angeles.
Hear Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman in the Halls of Ivy, tomorrow evening on NBC. The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Narcotics Bureau. For 7 months, you've been working with federal and state agents in breaking a narcotics ring. You've apprehended the small fry. Next in the line, the big man. Your job, get him.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima. Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. And that's why Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima has more than doubled its smokers coast to coast. So, if you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, July 9th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of Narcotics Bureau. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, Chief of Detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way into work, and it was 3:58 p.m. when I got to room 24, Narcotics Bureau.
Hi, Joe. Feel better?
Oh, not quite as tired, Ben. That Costello thing was a long haul.
Narcotics Romero. Okay, Bigham. I'll tell him. Meeting's in 5 minutes. Chief Brown drove it.
Okay, I want to pick up my stuff from the captain first. Hi, Skipper.
Come on in. You look a little better, Friday. Get some rest?
Yeah, a couple of good meals. That's the trouble with the Flats gang. They never knew where to eat.
Sit down, Joe. I want to talk to you. We got a couple of minutes before the meeting. You'll probably be getting this all up and down the line from here in. Just want to let you know that we think you and all the men in the operation did a fine job.
My part wasn't much. You did more than I did.
Oh, we all worked, but you had the dirty end of it. Good job. Here's your equipment. You'll need it now.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Badge, your ID card, your gun. 6 shells, that's all of it, huh?
Mm-hmm. That's it, thank you.
You're back at it.
Yep.
Here's one for you. Look at this.
What's that you got?
Mug shot of a girl picked up in a narcotics raid last night.
Oh, pretty girl.
Long blonde hair, beautiful eye.
She looks young. High school girl?
She was when that picture was taken, 1947. She was 16. Here, look at this one.
Yeah, same girl.
Yeah, that's the way she looked at 11:30 last night when we picked her up.
She looks 50.
19 years old. 3 years on heroin.
She might as well be dead.
She is. 8 o'clock this morning.
Let's go. It's time for the meeting. You just looked at the best reason I know of for getting Belmont.
She get her stuff from Belmont?
Costello was pushing to her. He got his stuff from Belmont, the old one. Well, let's go.
Right with you. Anybody brief you on the Costello interview, Joe?
No, not yet.
Chief Brown will fill you in. Here we are. Chief?
Gentlemen, come on in. You men all know each other.
Hi, Craig.
Captain White, I think you and your men know policewoman Caswell.
Yes, sir. How are you, Florence?
Hello.
Miss Caswell, Inspector Virgil Beckner, State Narcotics.
How do you do?
Oh, yeah. Bill Craig, Agent in Charge, Federal Narcotics. Hello.
How do you do?
Before we get into Belmont procedure, let's see how we stand on the Costello case. White, do you want to fill everybody in on information we got from Ralph Costello?
Yes, sir. After his arrest Monday night, we interrogated Costello for about 4 hours. We confronted him with the package he sold Friday here.
How'd the stuff test?
Crime lab ran it through, about a third of an ounce of heroin, fair quality Mexican stuff. The man we picked up with Costello, Tony Morris, was questioned as well. He corroborated Costello's story.
What'd you get from him?
Well, he told us he had a great deal of information on the big man in the operation, Belmont. But he wouldn't tell us a thing unless we made a deal with him.
What kind of a deal?
He wanted everything. But we finally agreed that the only thing we might possibly work out was his prison term.
Mm-hmm.
We called in the U.S. District Attorney. We talked another 4 hours.
How'd it work out?
District Attorney told Costello the only thing he'd do for him was to have his prison terms run concurrently rather than consecutively. Not much to pay for what we got.
Costello gave us enough to enable us to start moving on Belmont right away. We've had his M.O. confirmed. We've got a list of most of his pushers. Now we can get to him.
Any definite plan, Chief?
White and I have been talking it over here with Craig and Beck. We worked out what we think might be a pretty good plan. Craig, do you want to lay out how your men are going to handle it from the federal end?
We'll work from out of town to the center here. We'll check his contacts across the state lines. We've already traced his connections to the east, New York syndicate. We'll keep working that in.
Beck, how about your state narcotics men?
We work inside the state line here. We've already checked out part of his operations. We've located sources in San Francisco, Bakersfield, Fresno, as far south as San Diego, Lower California. We'll draw all those ends up tight. Keep moving.
You fellows can both give us a hand if we need assistance.
You bet.
That's right.
Fine. White, what are we going to do locally?
Oh, it's going to be a case of taking what we know and finding out what we don't know, putting the two together. Seems to me to be a case of watching the man at all times. Belmont shouldn't be able to blow his nose without one of our men knowing it.
It's going to be a tremendous undertaking. You all know the tough job it is shadowing narcotics men. They're fidgety, hypersensitive. They recognize anything out of the ordinary at once.
For that reason, it can't be a one-man operation. Everybody's got to work. Our undercover won't work this time. They're no doubt alerted. So we'll work it from another angle.
When do we start?
We've already started. Belmont lives in Manhattan Beach. His house is under surveillance, has been since yesterday.
Well, I can't impress upon all of you the importance of not letting Belmont out of your sight for an instant. A narcotics buy could be made in 30 seconds. If we're not there at the instant, we lose him.
Do we have anything at all as to when he might be ready to deal again?
Nothing. Nobody seems to know Belmont's exact operating time. Could be any time. And in order to prosecute him, we've got to be there when the narcotics are in his possession or under his control.
So we start to live with him and stay as close as we can without being tapped until there's a buy.
That's it. Captain White has all the assignments for our local men.
Okay.
We'll watch him.
And stay close to him. If he makes a move, be there.
The meeting lasted 4 hours. During that 4 hours, a plan was formulated which we hoped would end in the successful apprehension of the number one man in Pacific Coast narcotics traffic, Arthur Z. Belmont. How do you watch a man, his every move, for 24 hours, day in, day out, without his knowing it? How do you watch a man whose very existence depends upon not being watched, who is expertly schooled in every trick and device of police surveillance, whose method of operation will change with the slightest disturbance of his daily routine, and if that M.O. changes, you've lost him. Thursday, July 10th, in the small Los Angeles suburb of Manhattan Beach, population 10,172. 3 very ordinary events took place. A public nurse began a house-to-house survey. She asked the simple question, have you ever been vaccinated for smallpox? She started canvassing 27 blocks from the home of Belmont. Policewoman Florence Caswell. 2 Japanese gardeners new to the city of Manhattan Beach began soliciting work. They started asking for jobs 38 blocks from the home of Belmont. Sergeant Ten Fujikuni and Patrolman John Kagawa. A team of surveyors driving a station wagon marked with the seal of Los Angeles County began taking linear measurements for the proposed enlargement of storm drains in the area. They started 14 blocks from the home of Belmont. Lieutenant John Bigham, Central Narcotics, Sergeant Ben Romero, and myself.
Okay, Ben, bring in the rod. Let's knock off for lunch.
What do you want to eat, John?
In the wagon. Better take the transfer with us. Kids might pick it up.
Okay. I got it.
I can't keep the sand out of my shoes.
You might as well get used to it. We're a long ways from home.
Yeah. 9 years on the job is the first time I ever brought my lunch in a paper sack.
Who knows, Joe? This might change your whole way of living.
Who's that?
You want to sit in the front?
No, I'm getting back.
Fellas, have a look at the local paper?
No, why?
Manhattan Beach Sentinel, down the bottom of page 1 in the box. Read it.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah.
Well, it's good.
What is it, Joe? Read it out loud.
Well, it says preliminary work on storm drains started. Surveyors. Well, it goes on to say that surveyors have started taking measurements for the new drains.
Captain White's idea had the story planted, even got a release from the Planning Commission.
It won't hurt us a bit. Well, you said lunchtime. I've got enough here for the whole department. 4 hard-boiled eggs. See what kind of sandwiches I drew. Deviled egg. Look here. See if you can put them on egg bread. I hate eggs.
Looks like the captain driving up the street.
Yeah, that's him.
Driving a city car. Chief engineer.
How's it going, Biggin?
Fine. Slow. Had your lunch?
What do you got?
Deviled egg sandwiches. Got plenty.
Can't stand them.
How about ham and cheese?
Yeah, thanks.
There you go.
How's everybody else doing?
Very slow. It takes time. Got to keep taking our time. If we tip it before we got close enough, Belmont's on his way.
How long are we going to have to keep our distance?
Not much longer. We can't take the chance of starting everybody out right on top of Belmont. It might look funny to him. Anybody else would be okay. The average person, your operations might look normal, but we can't afford to try to get it by Belmont that way.
With a hop cutter, you never know.
It's not so much that we don't know, we just can't take any kind of a chance.
That's what I mean.
He might have started right on Belmont's front lawn, and he's never got wise. But we wouldn't want to risk it.
Belmont been out of his house today?
On the go quite a bit. Left his house at 9:13 a.m., went down to the ShopRite market, bought a half-pound of bacon, 2 dozen eggs, loaf of bread, whole wheat. Sergeant Hodges waited on him. He's clerking in the grocery department. Then he drove over to his neighborhood gas station, got a full tank of ethyl and 2 quarts of oil, 30 weight. Drove home, got back at 9:42.
Are you still there?
Yeah. About time you guys were back at it, huh?
Right. Okay, Ben. You want to grab some of the gear?
Yeah. Hey, Joe. Give me a leftover bread crust, will you? I'll give him to Seco.
Yeah, sure. Here you go.
Well, foot by foot, we're getting closer to Belmont. Hope nobody tips it.
Nobody should, unless you don't trust those gulls.
We surveyed the city of Manhattan Beach for 5 weeks. Policewoman Caswell, posing as a nurse, continued canvassing. Everybody concerned with the job of standing watch over Arthur Z. Belmont carried out their routine day by day. Daily reports came in from everyone in the operation. These reports would be sifted at Central Narcotics and progress reports compiled for the use of those in the field on the Belmont case. All police cars, as well as city cars, such as we were employing, were equipped with 3-way radio communication. All personnel were in constant contact with one another. Wednesday, August 12th, it was the decision of Captain Lynn White that the idea of our posing as city surveyors had been exhausted. Further use of this could possibly arouse suspicion. Belmont lived at 1227 Ocean Avenue. 2 days before we were called off the surveying job, the city leased the private residence at 1216 Ocean Avenue. A van load of furniture was moved in. Drapes and curtains were hung. Regular deliveries of daily newspapers and milk were made to the house. To all outward appearances, the house was occupied by an average family. Actually, it provided another blind from which we could continue to observe Belmont. Shortwave radio equipment was installed in an upstairs room. Ben and I were assigned the night watch.
Another car just stopped in front of Belmont's house.
How many's that make?
3 cars. Just a minute. Yeah. A couple of guys getting out. Went up the front door.
Where? Let me see, huh?
Take a look. Watch curtain.
Yeah. Belmont answered the door. He's letting him in.
Something's doing. What do you think?
I know. You called Captain White, didn't you?
Oh, an hour ago. Just after the first car pulled up. You're parked in the alley and come up the back way.
I better check with everybody again. This portable seemed to warm up slower than our car radio.
About the same.
Here we go. Unit 140K to Unit 145K.
145K, go ahead.
Just checking. Your location the same?
That's right. Ocean and Clipper.
We got 3 cars to cover now. Stand by.
Roger.
Unit 140K to 143K.
143K, we got it. Standing by.
Location still good?
Same.
Be talking to you. Stand by. 140K to 149K.
149K, go ahead.
Stay put. We got 3 cars now.
Yeah, we heard. Still the same spot. Standing by.
Roger.
Captain just pulled into the alley, Joe.
Good.
Belmont's porch light just went out.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. 3 guys came in the first car, 2 in the second, 2 in the third. Is that right?
Yeah, 7 all told. 8 counting Belmont.
Maybe he's running for office.
Joe, Ben, any changes since you called me?
Another car.
Mm-hmm. Anybody you know?
It's too dark to see their faces.
Uh-huh. Dodge Coupe, gray, black packet sedan, green cherry. Well, that might be for me. I told the office they could reach me, yeah. White. Yeah, Bigham. You must be wrong. You sure he's not lying? All right, thanks. Yeah. You sure Belmont hasn't left his house since you came on duty?
Couldn't possibly. Not without somebody in the detail spotting him.
He got out somehow. He made a buy.
Captain White called the office and talked to Benny Arredondo, our narcotics undercover man. He confirmed the fact that somehow Belmont had a meet and successfully completed a narcotics transaction. None of us could figure how, and we didn't know when the meet took place. Arredondo told us that the buy had been made sometime in the past 10 hours. The arresting officers had recovered a portion of the narcotics, 2 bundles of heroin. They were found in the possession of one of Belmont's runners, Archie Scott.
I can't figure him. What do we do now, Skipper?
Sit tight and watch those 3 cars in front of Belmont's house over there.
Maybe he didn't have to leave the house to make a buy.
That's the way I got it pegged. Those cars down there, those are the first visitors he's had in the past 24 hours?
As far as anybody knows, we watched it float.
Sometimes it's like that.
It looks like somebody's coming out over there.
2 guys.
How many in there?
8, counting Belmont.
All right, Friday. Get to the cars.
Yeah. They started to move out yet?
No. 5, 6, 7. That's all of them. They're heading for the car.
Yeah. Looks like a 3-way switch. We'll see when they start to move out.
Attention, all units and special details. Stand by.
Here's the license numbers, Joe.
Oh, good. I knew those things.
Green Chevy's headed south. Black packet's going north. So's a Dodge Coupe.
Uh-huh.
Dodge turned left at the corner. It's headed east now.
Got it. 140K to all units and special detail. Unit 149K.
149K, go ahead.
1946 green Chevrolet sedan, license 61 William 852, headed south on Ocean.
Roger.
Unit 145K.
145K, go ahead.
1947 gray Dodge Coupe, license 1 X-Ray 1898, headed east on Clipper Street.
Roger.
143K, come in.
143K, yep.
1939 black Packard sedan, license 6 Mary 6778, headed north on Ocean.
Roger. Got him spotted.
Could be a dry run. He couldn't afford to chance it either way.
Nothing to do now but wait it out.
That's right, and pray for rain.
It was 8 minutes past 8 p.m. We sat back and waited for the reports to come in from the cars. At 8:25 p.m., 17 minutes after the alert was broadcast, Unit 149K reported in on the gray Chevrolet sedan. The car and its occupants were thoroughly searched. No trace of narcotics was found. 8:42 p.m., 34 minutes after the alert.
Unit 143K to 140K.
143K, go ahead.
On that 1939 Packard sedan, license 6 Mary 6778. Shook him down. Nothing. They're clean.
8:50 p.m., 42 minutes after the alert, the report on the third and final car came in, the 1947 gray Dodge Coupe.
That's it. Not a trace of narcotics in any of those 3 cars. Belmont beat us.
It's tough luck. It's going to be tougher. Now he knows we're after him.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. Now, here's an authentic report from Fatima Cigarettes.
In 1949, Fatima more than doubled its smokers from coast to coast.
In 1950, enjoy Fatima yourself.
You'll find Fatima extra mild.
Because Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild.
You'll find Fatima tastes much better.
Fatima's superb blend gives you a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
You'll find Fatima best in cigarette quality.
Fatima has always stood for the best in cigarette quality. For a new year of greater smoking enjoyment, buy Fatima in the appealing golden yellow package. You will agree, Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
The three-car switch. 3 cars arrive at a given point at different times. The meet takes place. The drivers of the various cars leave the given point at the same time. Each drives away from the point in a different direction, making it 3 times as difficult to follow them. The practice was not new to the Narcotics Bureau or the dealers in narcotics. It usually includes the dry run, in which the actual mechanics of the narcotics are carried out, but neither the merchandise nor the money is on hand. This practice forces the narcotics officer into pure guesswork. If the officer doesn't follow up, the buy could be successful. If he chooses to follow up, he takes the chance of exposing himself and tipping his hand on a rehearsal. In the case of this particular car switch, we lost. But taken in the car roundup were 7 of Belmont's trusted runners. 6 of these men refused to talk, but the 7th, Clifford Bissell, gave us a lead to one of Arthur Belmont's most trusted friends. His name was Floyd Ketchel. He and his wife lived at 357 Evergreen Drive, Linwood.
It's a nice house.
Yeah.
Yes?
Police officers, we'd like to ask you a few questions.
What about?
Well, as you probably know, there's been a series of burglaries here in your neighborhood.
No, I didn't know.
Oh, yes, quite a few. Would you mind if we came in and talked to you about it?
I don't know anything about any robberies around here. Everything's okay.
This is just a routine check, Mr. Ketchel. Everybody else in the neighborhood's cooperating. Only take just a minute.
All right, you can come in, but I have to leave in about 15 minutes.
Thank you. Well, you have a nice place here, Mr. Ketchel.
Yes. Now, what was it you wanted me to help you with?
You know a man by the name of Clifford Bissell?
No.
How about Arthur Z. Belmont?
Who?
Arthur Z. Belmont. Bissell says you and Belmont are good friends.
I don't understand this. I thought you wanted to ask me about some robberies. I wonder if you'd mind rolling up your left sleeve. I'd like to look at your arm. What for?
You're a user, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Then you know what we're talking about, don't you?
No, I don't. Do you have any narcotics here in the house?
Certainly not.
You mind if we look around?
Why do you want to search the house?
Why won't you show us your left arm? Floyd Ketchel would admit nothing, but he allowed us to search his home and grounds. An extra detail of men was called out to aid us in the search. We covered every foot of the acre of ground. This took 2 days. We found nothing. On the 3rd day, under the flooring of an upper bedroom of the Ketchel home, we found Ketchel's plant. He was using heroin.
You want me to call Belmont, is that the idea?
That's right. We want you to set up a meet with him.
I'm not going to rat on Art. He's a friend of mine.
Well, suit yourself. We found your plant there. We've got you. You'll be the fall guy.
You mean I take all the heat?
Why not? Bissell put the finger on you. We got to have somebody.
Why pick on me?
We just told you. We found the stuff here. Bissell fingered you. You're it.
All you have to do is make a phone call. You won't have a clean slate, but it's going to sound a lot better in court.
All right. It makes sense.
You know what to tell him. We've already been over all that. Call him now. Friday, listen in on the extension. If Ketchel changes his mind in the middle of the conversation, I'll see that he hangs up.
Yeah.
Hi, Art. Floyd Ketchel.
Hiya, Ketch.
Fine.
How's Edna?
She's fine, Art. Say, I got a friend on his way to Honolulu.
Uh-huh.
He wants to take a little package along. Gotta have it.
You know him? Is he okay?
Yeah. Old friend.
You sure?
Yeah.
Have to be pretty careful. Got hit Wednesday night down the beach.
Yeah? Who'd they get?
Bissell and 6 guys from New York. Got off easy. It was a dry run.
I didn't know that. Nothing in the papers.
Isn't hit yet. It will. How much do your friend need?
Going to be in the islands for quite a while, so there's a couple ounces should do it.
You got the money now?
He's good. Can you swing it tonight? Boat leaves from San Francisco day after tomorrow.
Hasn't got much time, has he? Okay, you want to pick it up?
Yeah. All right if I bring him along? I want you to meet him. Good customer.
If you're sure about him, yeah.
at the store.
We'll be there, Art.
1,100 cash.
Yeah,
Better be okay, kid.
he is.
Better be. I had one dry run this week. I can have another.
3:22 p.m. We took Mr. and Mrs. Floyd Ketchel back to Central Division, where they were booked on suspicion of violation of the State Narcotics Act. 4 p.m. We met in the office of Chief of Detectives Thad Brown.
You need $1,100, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
How much was in the Secret Service fund?
$223. Allotment for this month's all gone.
Well, where'd you get the rest of it?
You haven't got it all yet. Primera's the banker. How you got it figured, Ben?
Well, let's see. I got it all written down here. First off, we got $223 cash. And these fellows all gave us their personal checks. Jack Donahoe and Robert gave us $200. Johnny Begum put up $100, and Captain White sent for $150. Joe put in $35, and 22's all I could swing.
That's $720. You need $380, right?
Yeah, that's the way I got to figure.
Okay, I think I can make up the rest.
How about Wynn's Cadillac? You loan it to you?
He's out getting it washed.
It's 41, isn't it?
Yeah, sedan. A little old, but it looks good when it's washed. Flashy.
Oh, that's what you need. You going to make the byway?
Yeah. Ketchel will be with me.
Okay, it's all here, $1,100.
Yeah, we've only got one hitch. It's 5 o'clock and the banks are closed.
Yeah?
Not much time to run around getting checks cashed. It was 5 p.m. We had 3 hours to cash $720 in personal checks. We split up and covered every possible place in the city where we were known and where we knew they would cash them. By 7:45 p.m., we had the $1,100 in cash. The serial number on each bill was listed and the money turned over to Captain White. The scene of the meet was a hardware store on East 9th Street, which Belmont used as a front. Belmont's hardware was located in a small neighborhood shopping district. On Friday nights, the stores remained open until 9 p.m. Promptly at 8:30, Captain White and Floyd Ketchel pulled up in front of the store and went in. Ben and I waited in our car a half a block down the street. It was 8:35.
There they are. They're coming out. Must have made the buy.
Starting the car. Here they come. Watch for the skipper's signal, huh?
Yeah. There it is. Let's go.
Okay, pull over here. Come on.
There's a clerk back there. You see Belmont?
No.
Yes, sir. Can I help you?
Mr. Belmont around?
No, sir. He just stepped out.
You sure?
Yes, sir. He went out the back door not a minute ago.
Bigham and Cassidy are out there, aren't they?
Yeah, he won't go for it.
Oh, there's Mr. Belmont. Mr. Belmont, these gentlemen want to see you.
Running up the stairs to the mezzanine.
Come on. Mike Belmont, wait a minute. What's that barrel? Watch it. Look out! Pushing that barrel down the stairs. All right. Let's go. Come on.
There he is. He's trying to reach that skylight.
Belmont, get on. You'll never make it.
Slipping, Joe.
Belmont! Come on.
He didn't do that showcase any good.
Yeah, he's through.
Piece of that glass right through him.
Yeah, it's a rough way to go, isn't it?
Yeah. At least narcotics didn't kill him.
Didn't it?
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 10th, 1948, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 87, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
It's amazing how many long cigarette smokers are changing to Fatima. Here is the actual report.
From coast to coast, Fatima has more than doubled its smokers.
Yes, more and more smokers every day are discovering that Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
Smokers find Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
They find that Fatima is extra mild because it's the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos, superbly blended to make it extra mild.
Enjoy extra mild Fatima yourself. Best of all long cigarettes. 12 members of Arthur Z. Belmont's narcotics gang were finally rounded up by federal, state, and local authorities. All 12 were tried and convicted of violating the Harrison Act and the State Narcotics Act. They received sentences as prescribed by law and are now serving their terms in state and federal penitentiaries. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all lawn cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet from Los Angeles.
Be sure to hear Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman in Halls of Ivy tomorrow on NBC.